I'm Eggy Drago. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. I'm a part-time video store clerk, a part-time brawler, oh yeah, and a full-time human being. Wow. When I went to Tokyo back in February 2024, I went to an idol concert on a whim because my VTuber Oshi, who graduated, was into that scene. Needless to say, I got hooked. Yeah, I think we bought too many Checkies. After talking to a few idols, I realized every single one of them has a story, be it why they chased this dream, their ups and downs, and even their future after all this. And that's what I'm here to do. Learn more about the idol culture, the various scenes around the world, and to give them a platform to tell their stories. Every idol has a dream and a story to tell. This is IDOLEYEZ.
Cowabunga!
Whoa, OBS, Ninja, please load. Okay, there we go. Woohoo! Yeah. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. This is Mighty Eggy Drago, and we are here for IDOLEYEZ new episode 12. Episode 12 was supposed to happen last week, but that got postponed. But we have for this new episode 12, we have a member of FAEBLE. We have, I guess, the de facto leader of FAEBLE. I guess.
I am the leader of FAEBLE, yeah. I don't talk about it.
The leader of FAEBLE, the prime minister of FAEBLE, they love designing costumes. They love FAEBLE. They love sewing. They love tarot cards. They love Ninja Turtles. They passionately love Donatello or Leonardo or Michelangelo. I don't know which one you like.
The only one you didn't list.
Oh, Raphael.
Yeah.
This is the Guardian of Happiness. This is. Oh wait, Mina tenki wa do sari sari de.
Thank you for having me.
Sunny, how are you on this fine evening? Morning.
It's morning for me,
It's
but it's
morning.
for you, mate. It's like bright and early. It's 10 a.m. I'm Australian, mate. It's like 7 a.m. mate. I'm good. I'm getting over me rat plague. I'm awake. I'm ready to go.
All right, let's start things off. Usually, in the first part of IDOLEYEZ, we go back to the past, like Samurai Jack, and we ask, I guess, about your origin story of, like, let's say, who or what got you into idol culture or J-pop culture?
Oh, this is an interesting one because it was a bit of an accident. I was really into Love Live, as most of the Oz scene is. I'm sure you've heard this story 8 times now. And I wanted to be part of a Love Live group. And actually, Muse.au were looking for a sub member for one of their shows because they were doing an 18+ performance, and not all their members were 18, so they needed someone to fill in, so they had 9 members. So I did a fill in for them and joined their group, but just as I joined, they decided they weren't going to be a Love Live group anymore. they were like, "Oh, we're gonna be original idols now, actually, so you can be an original idol with us." And I was like, "I mean, I was been meaning to look into this J-pop thing, so that sounds fun. Why?"
Because I did some research. Sorry, both of us are sick. Sorry about that. I still have COVID. Sunny's still recovering from rat plague, I guess. So yeah. I did some research with like looking into Museu. Like it was mostly cosplayers, and then they did like some original. Like they didn't do like Love Live cosplays. You were like in a bunch of videos. I remember because I did the intro, I edited the intro and was looking for stuff to use. Like you were in like a Guilty Eyes cover, Guilty Eyes Fever cover with
Yeah.
Willow and Tears Shoe, but you weren't cosplaying. You were just you guys. So
I also changed the choreo so much, I'm not sure it counts. I was like, this song is a banger, but the choreo's a bit shit. We'll fix it.
I want to ask like who's your Love Live Oshi?
Daya Kurosawa is like she is my my diehard. I adore her. I never got to be her on stage. I was so sad. I only ever did Love Live cosplay with Museu once, and that was the show that I filled in for, and I was Ruby. I was so close. So I did fill in as Ruby that one time, and then we did like Love Live and cosplay anime songs within our repertoire, but I never cosplayed on stage with music.
I guess prior to Muse AU, did you like have any like training with like vocals or with dancing?
Not really. I'd been dancing. I was doing K-pop beforehand. Muse found me because I was a K-pop dancer, and scandalously, I liked to do the really sexy choreographies. So they're watching me like do Dally by Hyolyn, and they're like, "You know what our Love Live group needs? This one." I'm not sure how that really worked, but so I did a lot of K-pop stage covers, but it was still all self-taught. I ran crews and taught the choreography to the crews and kind of taught myself. I think I've taken like 3 dance classes in my entire life.
I see.
And I've never taken a vocal class. Just making it up.
I do remember like the first, I think like I was watching Mayhem stream and then we raided into your stream and then I think you pulled up one of your old K-pop like choreos or like performances.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was like the first time I knew that you I guess like did K-pop covers, so that's very interesting.
It's definitely a side throw for a lot of people, but I did spend a lot of time doing that because I've always enjoyed dancing and performing, but where I grew up in the countryside and I didn't have a huge access to the internet, and of course back in the day it was very hard to find J-pop online on YouTube. You kind of had to be on you had to be on Nico Doga and stuff like
Or
that,
you
right?
had to rely
I
on
don't even know how to use the internet. I was like, YouTube's all I've got. So I like kind of found K-pop and J-pop at the same time, but I couldn't find any more J-pop. But K-pop was much easier to find, so I ended up in that rabbit hole first.
Yeah.
And I really loved performing, so I ended up on stage for K-pop, and I did that for several years. My very first stage performance was in 2016, and it was doing K-pop.
I'd say what really inspired you to like become an idol, or like what really inspired you to join, I guess, that first technically idol group like Museu?
I really enjoyed the Love Live anime. I didn't put 2 and 2 together and realize that an idol scene actually existed because, like, obviously the weird school idol one kind of does it. So I was like, yeah, this is a bit fake for the TV show, but it's fun to pretend. And then when I joined Museu and the very first practice I went to, they were all really excited and bubbling because Ria was debuting with AGS 10-2 that day. And I was like, I don't know what this means, but everyone's really excited. And like Ria is my new group mate, and this seems like a really big deal for them. So I'm going to go and support them, like, to get to know them. And I rocked up to the AGS 10-2 stage for the first time. And I'm in the crowd like, oh! I absolutely lost my mind because I'd always wanted to be a performer, but K-pop and the other style I've done is very showcasey. Like, you get on stage, you show a talent, you leave.
Right.
It's which is one way of doing it, but I always kind of craved a bit more connection with the audience. When I went to like K-pop concerts, I was always like in the crowd, like, "Whoa," like I could feel like the energy. I really wanted to make that kind of connection with people and share with them what I feel when I go to concerts. And I went to see AGS 102 for the first time, and the way they were interacting with the audience and the calls and how everyone was kind of connected absolutely blew my mind. And I was like, this is it! This is the bit that was missing! And I was like, Christy! Christy, I want to do this! And she's like, yeah, that's what we're doing. And I was like, ah! I'm locked down, Christy!
I think
and then I was flattened by Automata. So you know.
I think that's what like drew me into like I guess like that culture was like the crowd interaction between like the actual performer and the actual crowd. Cause like with K-pop, I've been to like a bunch of K-pop concerts and like they they do like interact, but it's like not as much compared to like Cheap Idols and Kai Guy, cause like it's a very smaller venue and I guess it's more intimate. So that's what drew me into like the idol culture, and that's why I'm doing this show. So yeah.
I love how connected it all is.
Yeah,
it's very. It feels like you're performing together with the audience a lot of the time,
right?
As opposed to like a showcase of what I can do, which is also fun to do at times, but they're two different things, you know.
I guess the first time you performed with Museu, were you like, was there like any like nerves? Was there like any like stage fright?
I was quite nervous. My first performance was actually in a bar. Like we don't really count it as my debut because it was just like we did a set at a bar and there wasn't really anyone there who knew who Muse was. They were all like, "Oh, you guys dressed as Sailor Moon," and you know they were all really drunk and trying to dance to Cutie Panther. So that was more fun. But then my next performance was like a week or so later, and that was at Smash, which is a bit of a big deal. So I was shitting myself for that one. I was like, whoa, I don't know, Jeep. And I had a chest infection, so I was like really sick at the same. I was like hacking my lungs up, but you know, it was really fun, and it was a really interesting loop for me because exactly a year prior, I'd been at Smash and I watched Museu perform as Aquas, and I remember looking and being like, I want to do this. This looks really fun. I want to be like these guys. I didn't quite mean it so literally. So I wasn't really intending on joining the group and being on that exact stage with them a year later, but you know, it worked out.
I guess like as an aside, did it like surprise you that like from that group that there's like so many like I guess like the Muse alumni, there's like so many people that are still currently into the Sydney idol scene, like you, like well technically Christy, but she moved, but like Amy, Azusa, Rhea, and like I guess Willow too. But like did it surprise you that like everyone like found their place like after Muse?
I don't think it surprised me. I think everyone in Muse was successful because everyone was so passionate. We ended up going different ways for a variety of reasons, but we ended up sort of all like being in a 10-member group is a very different dynamic, and there's a lot of compromise, and I think everyone had different niche interests they wanted to explore. So as our older members went on a hiatus, and then CTRP had already made their subunit before I joined, so Citrus like existed before I was added. So they already had their subunits. So when Muse kind of went on a hiatus because we had 2 members away, and then CTRP were doing their own thing, we were kind of left with me, Christy, and Willow, who weren't doing anything. So everyone kind of had their own niche interest, and it was very hard to. There was a lot of compromise picking songs and stuff because we couldn't make everyone happy because there was 10 of us, and you couldn't also be in every song because there was 10 of us and only a limited set list. So I think we all wanted to push ourselves, and it was a good way to do that. And so we ended up pairing up in people with similar tastes. It just kind of fell into place almost.
I see. So I guess with Muse, and then like with everyone like having like different interests, and then I guess What happened with Muse? Like everyone, I guess like older members left, and then everyone just had like different like motives, and then it was you, Willow, and then Christy, which leads me into our next section, the creation of Fable. So how did that happen?
So, our older two members actually had children, so they were on break to have babies.
Oh.
So we were kind of Muse was on hiatus while they did that, and then Citrus already had their subunit, and they wanted to take that further, and they told us they were going to push that and do their debut, and they were streaming and stuff, so they were busy. And then there wasn't actually much discussion between Christy and Willow and I, but I knew I already wanted to start a group because I wanted to do more, and in particular I wanted to sing because Muse didn't sing. We were like dance only sort of cover group. So I really wanted to sing on stage, and I just hosted my first birthday live, which was an independent. I wasn't with a group at the time other than Muse, who was on hiatus. I really enjoyed running that show, and I wanted to run more shows. So I was literally like laying on the floor of Christy's apartment with Christy. And I'm like, I was really nervous, but I pitched it to her first. I was like, I think I want to start a group because I really want to sing. I want to give singing a go, and I want to try running lives. And I think the exact words that came out of my mouth was like Amuse, but not quite as frequent. Because Amuse had just were doing their monthly lives in Brisbane, which was also a kind of new thing at the time. And I was literally just pitching it as a crazy idea. I was like, yeah, I think I want to have this group, and I think I want to sing, and I think I want to call it Fable. Is that a stupid name? I want to add an extra E. Like a fairy. And Christy was like, you're letting me be a member, right? And I was like, I mean, if you want. Yeah, sure. You can. But can you tell me it's a good idea first? So... And we were laying there, and she was like, you should ask Willow too. I think Willow would really like it. And I was quite surprised because I didn't know if they wanted to sing or not. So it threw me a bit off guard. I was like, oh, we've got a whole group right here. Easy. Okay.
So...
But he just can't.
So just Fable just came into your mind, like, just out of nowhere?
Yeah, I'd been pondering starting a group because I wanted to do a bit more, and I wanted to sing. And then, yeah, I pitched it to Christy because Christy and I were close at the time, and we were kind of hanging out because Muse wasn't doing anything, so we didn't have anything to do. We were a bit bored. So I'd run this live for myself, and I was like, I want to do more. I've got a taste for it, Christy. Christy, it's an addiction. I can feel it starting. So, yeah, she wanted to join, and we asked Willow. Willow was like, yeah, sounds sick, let me in. You know, Muse isn't doing anything, so we ended up with another, like, Muse unit. By a chance.
Was there like any other potential members that you wanted in Fable, or was that three's the magic number? That's it.
I hadn't thought about it too much. I wasn't sure who I was gonna ask. I was more still contemplating on whether it was a good idea for me to start a group in the first place. And then Christy was like, "Let me in!" So, you know, sped run that a little bit. But we pondered holding auditions, but we wanted to start with 3 for the moment because that seemed like enough, and we'd all already been working together for a while, so we knew the dynamic of how we like to practice. So we ended up learning a song and going about that and doing the formations. We were like, yeah, I think we can do this as 3. I think this will be right. I think this is the team. So it's kind of early on. I had no idea how anything was gonna go, so we were expecting it to go quite slowly and like gradually build. So we were just, you know, start with 3, see how it goes sort of thing. We weren't really expecting to blow up as quickly as we kind of did in the start.
So group got formed. The first cover cover video you did was that Walk Your song. Don't remember the name, but it was a Walk Your song. Welcome to Walk-Your. They do the salute.
Yeah, correlations of war.
Yeah. And I guess after that, how did you like garner more fans? Like
we really wanted to, because we already were established within the community, doing like a reveal on Instagram on who was in the group wasn't gonna quite hit the same as showing us what we were prepared to put out. So we debuted with a video specifically for that reason. Like, here we are. You guys knew who we are. This is what we're doing. That's why it's exciting. You know, this is why it's different. And we made this video, and I've forgotten the question now.
How did you like garner more interest with fans?
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. So we posted the video because it would reach more people, and there wasn't a lot of performance opportunities at this point. The whole reason we'd started the independent lives is because there's not a lot of cons in Australia, and at the time there was 3 cons in Sydney, but only one of them you could perform at. So if you wanted to perform at a convention, you had one chance a year, and that was it, and that was not enough for us. So we were trying to reach out and gain popularity so we could run shows. So we ended up streaming because Christy was an established streamer at the time. Willow's really funny, so we were like, get you on camera, absolutely. And we did some little fundraiser streams, like a little sleepover stream, I think was the first one. And we used it to raise money for the equipment we needed to run shows, and also just to show personality and be fun and all of that. Yeah. I think we made TikToks too.
In 2021, right? I see. So streams, get more people interested in the group and like with the actual idols. And then you raise money for your first one man live in 2021.
Yeah.
How was organizing that?
It was very exciting. We knew we wanted to sing, but to be able to sing, you need microphones. And this is a good advice actually for any idols. If you want to sing at events consistently, you need your own set of microphones because it just solves all the problems. But we needed our own set to bring to the venue to be able to sing. So we knew we needed to raise money for them. So we did a lot of research. I'm tippy-tapping. I'm calling my dad. I'm like, I don't know what to buy. This is all so confusing. And we worked out a set that would work for us. And then, yeah, we put a goal. We were planning on doing heaps of streams to raise money. We had Checky on an offer if you made a donation. And we were off to do our first little stream. And then everyone went crazy. And blew out our donation goal within like the first hour or so. It was crazy. We were like, so it really amped up the planning for our first live because we were expecting to take a fair bit of time to raise money for the mics before we could even then set a date. But because everyone was so keen for us and like donated all this money towards our microphones because they really wanted us to have a show, we were like, fuck, put it on speed run. Like, we got to get this out. The people are demanding. So we ended up, this was like March, April, and I think we held the debut show in May. So we kind of were like, yep, spit it out. Get it out as fast as we can. So it was a bit stressful in that regard because it was quite a quick turnaround. And we had to learn a whole one man worth of repertoire. So we had one song, you know, we Correlation the Wall was all we got. So we were like, panic, panic. Oh, we've got to learn lyrics for the first time. Panic, panic. Pull it all together. We used a new venue, which is no longer available in Sydney. It was such a cool venue. Rest in peace. We got to do our debut show at Giant Dwarf. And they had a great team. That was really fun. So we set all that up. We had to like get all our merch happening. We needed Checky tokens. We needed stuff to sell. Willow's like furiously making this art print that we could put on things. It was a very quick turnaround.
So I was looking for clips to like edit your intro and like other people's stuff, I saw, I think that in the highlights tab of FAEBLE Future, like the first live's there. I think.
Yeah, you can watch the whole stream still. It's still on Twitch.
Because you did some group songs and then you spaced out the set list with with some solos, right?
Yes, we all did a solo.
The
debut of Doki Peepo P. Just been around a hot minute.
So, I guess with that live, in retro, or like looking back at it, was there like anything that you could have done differently?
That live was very stressful for me in particular because a lot of the admin work fell onto me, which became very I was very weighed down in responsibility, but that also happened during the show. Like, I had people running me messages for things that were going wrong or questions they had while I was on stage. So I would get off stage to drink water and I would have a note and I had to like write down a password for something or let them know how to do something. Or it like, it was the beginning of like show running whilst being in the show is quite difficult and something that I think I've got a lot better at now, but that's really hard to start with. So I was very overwhelmed by that. And it was a very stressful show for me in that regard because it was the first one. You know, you're still working out the dynamic, and the dynamic was the time is okay, I need to delegate more. And I had a back injury as well.
Oh,
so-
you performed.
It was-
Oh my god, Muse, infection, first one man live for Fable, back injury. You.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like some things you don't talk about it because you don't want to ruin the mood. But I was in a car accident a few days before the show and injured my back, and there was nothing I could do about it because it was like 3-4 days before the show. So it was like one of those I've just got to tough up and get through it. I got an X-ray. They were like, "It's you probably dislocated it and it's relocated now, so it just hurts." So I was like, "Okay, as long as I'm not doing damage, suffer through it, we will." So yeah, it was a interesting show. The first time having to juggle things in that way because I'd run my birthday live, but because only my opinion mattered, it was a lot easier to dictate, like be the dictator of the show. Whereas when you're show running but you're taking into account multiple perspectives, there's a lot more to manage and a lot more to keep in your mind because you're not just thinking for yourself, you know. So that was a totally new thing for me at the time.
I see. So with that one man live debut show out of the way, pandemic. I guess the pandemic was still happening, but for Sydney, you guys like had a lockdown like middle of 2021.
Yes, we had a second lockdown. So we had one when we were practicing for our debut, essentially. That was like the first one. I got stuck in Tasmania for a huge suck of it. And then we came back, and then we got the debut show out, and then like really soon, I think after the debut show, yeah, we went straight into another lockdown. So that was like not allowed to leave your house, like the proper lockdown. And then Christy and Willow actually live in another, I don't know a word that will make sense to the overseas people, but
Province,
like another
town,
district, essentially, kind of thing. Like they live in outside of Sydney, technically. So we couldn't even, I couldn't go see them. We couldn't get anything to them. So they were like separated from me in that regard. So even when things started to open up a little bit, we couldn't cross the line to practice. So we were like completely shut down. We were preparing for Christy's birthday live actually when the lockdown happened, because Christy's birthday is in June. So we were like, next show, because we wanted to do one every 2 months. So we were like, okay, next one's June. Let's do a birthday for Christy. That'll be really fun. Christy's been in the community for such a long time. But yeah, it got shut down because of the lockdown. So that was why when we finally came back from the lockdown and we did the birthdays, Christy's birthday was in November. This is where the November birthday live came from. It was already, we were prepping it. It had names and set lists and everything before we got shut down and it got cancelled. We also got stuck with this was when the vaccinations came out.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to have so many jabs before you were allowed out into the community. So we were waiting to get vaccinated and get all our vaccinations done. And it was particularly tricky for me because Australia had 2 on offer. But only one of them was safe for me with my health issues, and it was the more popular one. Everyone wanted Pfizer. Everyone wanted Pfizer, and I could only get Pfizer, so it was really impossible to get an appointment to get that specific vaccination. So I ended up stuck in lockdown for an extended period. But I remember the tweet we were finally released when all of us were vaccinated and allowed to travel. We were like, we were out of space jail! We were so excited. So there was like a whole 6-month gap where we just couldn't do anything.
I guess with that gap, did you like do, I mean like you couldn't perform, but like did you like do anything, I guess like for the group? Did you like do like any costumes? Did you like plan like set lists?
We like planned set lists. We did a lot of graphic design, so we made some new merch. We were planning what we wanted to do, but otherwise we were pretty stuck. It was like we didn't want to make new costumes because we just got costumes that we've worn once. Like it wasn't much we could do. It was really, I felt super like stuck, and it was really frustrating. So we kind of just didn't do a whole lot. It was like a six month almost hiatus. But we ended up planning the birthdays because it was also like you didn't know when we were going to reopen, so it's not like we know we're going to be gone for 5 months, so it was really hard to predict what we'd even have the time to do, so we didn't know how long it would be. So as we got closer to like, okay, we just need our vaccinations and then we'll be able to do this, we started prepping, and that was where the next set of lives came from, which was the birthday bender we did at the end of that year, kind of make up for this.
So you did, I guess, Christy's birthday live, and then I guess like out of that, I want to say like, when did Willow go into hiatus? Was that like when Mayhem and Nye were in the line? Okay, so okay, we'll talk about that later. But with Christy's live, and then what happened afterwards?
So we announced we were doing our very first bender. The Fable bender is a tradition at this point, I feel. We were doing a live every month to celebrate all 3 birthdays. So Christy birthday November, Sunny birthday December, Willow birthday January. Like it was. We almost died, but it was fun. Because we're still new at this point. We don't do one man's regularly. We done one like 5 months ago. Like we didn't have the stamina for this, so it was a bit of a choice on our part, but we pulled through. I think it was really good for us. It really helped us sort of prioritize what we needed to run shows, and then we also used it as a repertoire builder because we didn't have any songs within our repertoire. But by doing birthdays, we were kind of also focusing on songs each of our members liked, so we ended up with a repertoire where it had stuff all of us liked in it, so we could pull from that. So we ended up, a lot of like classic repertoire songs that we still do came from like My Birthday Live that year and all of that, but it was a lot. And I think we had there was still restrictions on venues because Christie's had an audience, I had an audience, Willow's did not have an audience.
I saw, yeah.
Green light!
Yeah.
There was a lot of no audience lives around that like 2020, 2021. It was like 50-50. And then with the restrictions, like my 2020 birthday live, I was allowed to have 10 people in the audience due to like the space restrictions of the venue. So it was 10 people. They had to sit in a chair and they had to measure the chairs 1.5 apart. They had to wear a mask and they were not allowed to cheer. They could only clap. So we did several shows like this where like we had to adapt and learn how to stream our shows live because we couldn't, like we could sell out 10 tickets, but we needed more people wanted to come. Like we needed to get other people seeing it somehow, and we needed to sell online checky. So there was like this whole, all right, we've only just learned how to sing and use microphones. How do we then get the sound back into the computer so we could stream it out to people? And like sitting on the floor of my room with all of these cables and stuff because we didn't have a sound tech, trying to work out how to make it get back in the computer. It was pandemic era Oz Idols was like a whole different caliber. You had to really want it, and you had to be really determined. And I think that's why older idols here and the foundation for our community is really solid, because if we could do that, any fire is a small fire, you know?
I guess you did one man lives, but like when did the tradition start with I guess with tie bonds, with like performing with other like groups?
Thai bands
Yeah.
have only been as popular as they are for about a year.
Oh.
Like they have like a year and a half. They're quite new here. We occasionally would have collab shows. Excuse me. It was common to have a guest. Like all the birthdays, we had a guest, and they would do like 3 songs, occasionally. But it was really one mans were it. Like we were just doing one mans because we were still new at running shows, so it was kind of you would often invite a guest to help you fill out the set list if you didn't have enough songs, but we weren't good at running shows yet, so it was kind of hard to ask people to be at your shows. So it was like after this era, like about April, we did Lost in the Matrix, which was a collab show, but we were kind of I was encouraging baby idols to do that because it gets them on stage. Like running a one man is quite hard, so Lost in the Matrix was Spark's debut show, at which I helped them through. And it was like, well, invite a group with a following who's going to get you some ticket sales, i.e. FAEBLE, bring in another act, so it's more interesting, and then run your show, and then we'll be here, so if something goes wrong, we can give you a hand. And they did Lost in the Matrix. I think it was Sour Candy, us, and Spark, and that was their first show. Like, there was a lot of shows like that where I was trying to help people start running shows, so they were like, just get the community rolling, it was that kind of grind there. But Thai bands like iBox, the first iBox was October 2022.
Oh.
So yeah, that was the very first one, and they didn't have the second one until April 2023.
A year? So or like, wow, that's
like a few months later. Yeah,
that's a big gap.
From that April 23, they were monthly. So
I see. So it
August was Idol Force, but yes, it's quite new. It's quite new. Yeah.
Okay. Going back to that, because like I was like kind of curious, like when like the Taiban thing happened, because like it's as common in Japan. So I was wondering when it happened in Sydney. So
we didn't have enough groups here, really. Like if you were gonna hold a consistent Taiban in 2022, it would have been the same 3 people. So there was much more. You got more variety by doing a themed one man. Okay. So because it was like Etude, Citrus, FAEBLE. I'm gonna forget someone, and if I do, I'm sorry. I'm just tired. We're like running shows. Neonism were around at that time. Like Spark and Sour Candy kind of appeared and did their little. They were like the babies that were starting to let me in. Because we didn't even get Smash back until 2022 July. The one I did, the debut one, that was the last one.
The one before the pandemic, 2019.
Yeah. 2019. There was no Smash, so that's why we were running shows, because you wanted to. There was Smash was the only con you could perform at, and it was gone. So if you wanted to perform as an idol, you had to make it yourself.
So 2022 rolls by. I guess that was the year that you guys had 2 more members. How did you find these 2 members?
We had an audition process. We finished the birthday benders, and Willow was like, I need a break. I need to breathe. I'm going on a hiatus. We were like, that's okay, Chief, but we can't do this as a duo. Can we get some new members? And she was like, okay. Because we were the workload was kind of a lot. It was kind of a lot, and we were trying to run these shows, and we were trying to help everyone else run shows, and it was a lot happening. We needed some hands on deck so that, Willow could take time off. We've always operated on an opt-in, opt-out policy, so we get an opportunity, and then the members go, I want to do it, I want to do it, I don't want to do it, I want to do it, and then we do it with whoever's agreed. So it was always, you could say yes or no to any opportunity. So yeah, Willow said, I'm going to say no to the next several. I'm going on a hiatus. This is your heads up. So we had an audition, because it was also not just for us, but also for the person who was going to be joining the group, because we'd been working together for a few years now. We were friends. We didn't want them to feel like they were stuck on the outside of us, or we wanted to be really careful with the dynamics so it didn't feel unfair and they didn't feel pressured. So we had a really in-depth audition process. So we started with an application that we filled out, you know, send us a video of you singing, send us a video of you dancing, a bunch of questions. One of the requirements was, do you go to shows? Because if you weren't going to other idols shows,
that's
you
a big red flag,
right? Yeah, you probably weren't going to fit in with our team.
Right.
I'm not going to say it's going to make you a shit idol, but you weren't really going to fit in with our team, most likely. Are you going to other idol shows, you know, things like that. And hilariously at the time, I'd already met Mayhem. Mayhem guested at my birthday live, so we'd seen Mayhem already, and I'd also seen Nai already. Technically, they just appeared like fresh faces in the scene. So, I was doing a K-pop cover with them and with Lace, so we were working together as a little 4-member team to do a little K-pop cover. And the auditions came out, and they all like were at practice for the K-pop, and they all look at me, and I'm like. So they all end up applying, and we ended up having an in-person audition too, which was, I think, a little bit weird at the time. I think the only group who kind of did that as well was like AGS 10-2/Neonism. So we had an in-person audition, which was really interesting. There was like a long email of the stuff you had to prepare. I thought really hard about every single step of this process and what it was testing and why we were doing it. They had to do a short solo performance. I think it had to be like 2 minutes or under. And then I gave them a choreography to learn. We were like, here's Caramel dancing. You've got a week to learn this. Good luck. And there'll be an interview, but don't stress too much about it. It's mainly for you to ask questions. Was the sort of audition thing. So we rocked up and we sat down and we were trying to be really friendly and casual, trying with everyone. They did all their solos. There's some really funny stories from the solos. We made Mayhem go first. Mayhem almost exploded. Poor little shy baby. But they're like stage presence. Like you guys see them perform, so you know. We didn't know because we'd only kind of seen very shy baby Mayhem, and so Mayhem gets up and does like a vampire, I think, like the Deco song with all like the creepy facial expressions, and I was like, "Who are you?" Excuse me. Like it was so good. It was so good. Like it's the best way. I was completely thrown off, and then Naya came up and did Morning with Meg because she's Naya. Like that surprises no one now. But she was like whacking and she completely smacked her arm into the ballet bar of the wall and almost sent herself flying. But immediately recovered and just kept going, and we're all like, because it was a really loud smack. We're like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, just like determined to keep going. It was very endearing. It was a very endearing process. And then we got everyone to do Caramel dancing, which we'd ask them to prepare. So we could kind of see, like, how well do they learn choreo on their own? Like, it wasn't a requirement, but it gave us kind of a realm of, like, a sort of realm of where they sat. So we knew, like, are you going to need more help? Are you, like, we had members like me who pick up choreo really fast, and then Willow often needs to be taught it because she learns a bit better that way. Like, we're just wondering where they sort of sat in that spectrum. And then the big test was, at the time, I was often guilty of being the, like, in K-pop terms, the overperforming member. So it was pretty easy to look like you were being a bit low energy next to me. So one of our requirements was we wanted everyone to dance with me and preferably Willow and Christy too, and see whether they could hold their own. And, like, not in a way that we're, like, better, but we just don't want someone to get on stage and look out of place. That would be harmful to everyone involved. You know, we want them to look like they belong there, like they fit with the team. They've got a similar kind of energy level. So yeah, we had everyone. I danced like Caramel danced like 4 times with all these different groups of people. To kind of see where that fit, and then we had a little interview with everybody as well and asked them, like, you know, why do you want to join FAEBLE? Do you have any questions? What do you want your icon to be? What color do you want to be? There's only 2 options.
Red and yellow. Please choose.
Red or yellow. Pick one. you know. So, and yeah, in the end, with all that sort of looked at, we settled on Mayhem and Naya. We weren't sure if we were going to take one or two, honestly. We wanted at least one member. We were looking at possibly taking two members, and we ended up taking the both of them. So, and neither of them picked their color. They were like, either of them didn't get the color they wanted, so they were like, eh. So I gave them both their color. I was like, you will be yellow, and you will be red. And together we shall be FAEBLE.
Do you remember how many people applied or auditioned?
We had about 20 something online, and then we took like 10 or 11 to the audition process because we tried to take as many people as possible because we felt like A, everyone should have a chance, but B, even if they didn't get in, because like statistically we were only taking one or two, it would be a really good experience for everyone. It would be, you know, they get confidence building, so they're going to be better their next audition. They're going to see how it runs, where, you know, trying to build a community where you can try without it being a negative thing, you know. So we tried to take as many people as we could to the physical audition, and I think that was about 10, maybe a bit less. 7 or 10, something like that. There was a fair few people there. Fair few people there at our little dance studio.
Interesting. So now with Naya and now with Mayhem, technically you're now 4. Willow's on hiatus. How was the first show performing as a 4-man group?
The first show was really interesting because it was quite last minute. Mayhem debuted maybe like 2-3 weeks after we accepted them. They did not have a lot of time. We had the auditions in late April, and we had our anniversary show coming up mid-May. So it was like, hey, welcome to the group. You're debuting in 3 weeks. Good luck. Here's all the choreo to learn.
Oh my god.
So it was a bit rough. Like, they could have said no, but why would you say no, you know? We picked Mayhem because Mayhem fitted with us, so it was absolutely like, all right, Captain, balls to the wall, here we go. And it doesn't stop from here. So we had them, they joined us about halfway through that live, so they didn't end up doing the full repertoire, but they had a lot to learn, and this is when we started we started to understand our sound a little bit more and what we wanted to do. So we started picking up songs like Official Fake, which we did for a really long time, and Emotion, and like the FAEBLE sound started to appear at this point. So we announced we were getting a red member. We had a little teaser video. It was really cute. We revealed them at the show. No one knew who they were until the actual live. They were hiding in like the back room until it was time to come out. Naya wasn't available for that date. She had a clash with something else, so she ended up debuting later, which worked out really well because then at the end of that show we got to be like, oh, surprise, there's another one.
So one more.
Come to the next show to meet the new one. You know, there's a yellow one too. So, and that ended up being the Smash Weekend show, so the Waypoint equivalent of 2022, which was our first one we did Smash Weekend, which was a really big show, to be honest.
I see.
Was record setting at the time, so it was like, Naya was, you know, it was a big show for Naya to debut.
So, with most of the band, I guess, formed, I guess I can ask, like, what would you say was like the weirdest gig you've done as FAEBLE?
I think that, like, we haven't done a lot of super like weird gigs, but when they put you in a space where they're not like idol fans or anime fans, is always a bit interesting because they never know what to do with you. So I think doing C4 the first time was really funny, which is a con, but it's out of sight of Sydney, so out where Christy and Willow lived at the time in the Central Coast. So we went all the way up there, and they'd never had idols before on this stage. They didn't really have performers usually at all. We were the first ones, and it was like a tiny con. and we really wanted to support it because it was their local con. So we rocked up to do a set, and they really didn't know what to do with us. They were, by the end, we had like 30 kids dancing with us at the front. Like, it was a really successful set, but everyone was very perplexed about what we were doing. But it ended up being a really cool story because they liked it enough. They invited us back the next year. And we were one of only, again, 2 performing acts that year, but a whole bunch of people came all the way up to the Central Coast, like a 2-hour train ride, to come see us. So we had like 30 people waiting for us, set at the very end of the day. And again, we went crazy with the whole idol thing, and all of the sort of people who don't really get to experience this were like, wow! And it was successful enough again that this year we didn't return, but they had a dedicated idol stage and they had idols running all day.
Nice. So you were part of, like, I guess, the foundation of it.
Yeah, that was very cool for us. So we were glad we could kind of showcase the community to them a little bit and help them grow in that way. So, but it was the first one. Yeah, it was weird. We were up here, I'm dancing Devil Anthem. They're like, I don't know what's going on, but it's fun, you know.
It's interesting to, like, I guess, hear idols perform in, like, I guess odd, not odd, but like, I guess, to normies. I guess it's a better lack of a better term.
That's always what it's weird. For lack of a better term, the normies.
Because like, I had Crystal on, and like, their group, I guess, performed at like a boba festival, and most of those people didn't know what idols were, and they were like, "Oh, okay, I see these people like perform. They're dancing. Cool. I want my boba."
Yeah. I did a Love Live performance as a beer festival once. That wasn't FAEBLE, but that's probably the weirdest one I've done.
How was that?
It was in Maitland, so that's like, again, like a 3-hour train ride outside of Sydney. So this is a small town. This is a smaller town, and it was like a proper beer festival full of normal drunk people. And we rocked up in full bedazzled Love Live gear. I was filling in for another group. One of their members was sick, so I was like just rocked up. I'm like, yep, I'll be Cannon. Hello. I don't know how you guys got this gig, but all right. And yeah, we get on the stage in the boiling hot sun, because it's the middle of summer and it's like not a covered stage. And all these normal people who are drinking, mind you, are staring at us like, who the fuck are these people? And we get up and we do a fully Love Live set. I can't even remember what we did, like step 0 to 1 and whatever. We're like, and they're all like, and we got heckled a lot because they were drunk. Like, they were drunk. But some people enjoyed it too. Like, it was because they're drinking, it was a very mixed bag. They were either like having a great time, or like, yeah, or they're asking you what the fuck's going on because it's toxic. It was interesting. It was an experience.
I guess on the other side of the spectrum, we talked about weird, but like, what about, do you want to like talk about like the toughest gig that you've done with FAEBLE?
It depends on your definition of tough, I guess.
I guess like tech failures, be it like someone graduating, or like whatever you wanna say.
Honestly, it's hard to tell from overseas and online, but there is some kind of issue at every show, and I think the biggest thing about being an idol is putting out the fires and making it fun for everyone. Like, that's what it is. Like, if you were gonna sum it down into one little thing, that's exactly what it is. So every show there is at least one fire that I've put out somehow. You know, like, something's wrong. The venues we hire, like Red Rattler is great, but the SCAC is falling apart. So there's always something. Like, oh, the cable's not here that was here last time. Oh, the speakers are overheating. Oh, the back right one's not working. Like, there's always something. And the challenge is always getting the doors open on time. But I think like one of the hardest, I think I did a show. I've only missed 3 FAEBLE shows the entire life of FAEBLE. One was at Mayhem's request because they wanted to do a solo set because they wanted to prove themselves a little bit. They were like, Sunny, please. And it was Halloween, so I thought it suited them. I was like, yeah, go for it, you can have it. And I staffed instead. The other one, I went away with a friend for their birthday, and that was this year. It's the first time I've like taken off a show to do something leisureful. And then the very first one I missed is because a close family member of mine passed away. But the hardest show I had to do was the one a few days after their funeral. I think that was really hard, but it was also exactly what I needed because it was a return to normal for me. So it was very hard to put on the stage face. I think that was, and pretend everything was okay. But I know so many people who come to our shows and are part of our community because it's a safe space for them and they can not think about anything else that's going on and have fun, and they know they can do that with us. It was kind of very special to me that for this time it was the other way around. I needed to come and I needed to be a part of our community for the day to kind of return to normal and realize everything was still going and everything was going to be okay. And I did, and it was hard, but I felt a lot better after that, and definitely continuing to do the shows as I normally did for the next few months is probably the reason I got through that. So it was, I think, the hardest in that term. I flew back in from the funeral the day before, and then I got on stage the next day, and I pulled out a new song and did a whole set. It was the first iVox, funnily enough.
Oh,
So it was like it was an important show. I was like, I wasn't pulling out of it, but it was. So I think that was my hardest. Christy's graduation was also really hard because Christy, has been with me since I started. So I knew she was moving into state, and that was really hard for me, because I would be losing her. I'd never not been in an idol group without Christy, so it was really hard to lose her that way.
I guess that's a good segue into my next question. I guess FAEBLE had like 5 members, and then Willow went into hiatus, so it was the 4 of you, and then Christy wanted to move. Well, yeah, she wanted to move, so they had a graduation show. And then Willow also, I don't remember when they left, but they also graduated. What was it like, I guess, experiencing like 2 members graduate out of the group, especially like originals too?
Yeah, it's because we were the first 3. It was really hard. Christy's was really hard because Christy wanted it to be a graduation. It was a bit sad, and it was a bit different because she was moving away, so she was leaving our community. Like, she wasn't going to be around anymore. So even if she wasn't in FAEBLE, she wasn't going to be at other people's shows. She wasn't going to be at practice. She wasn't, like, I can't go and hang out at her house anymore. So it was, like, really all encompassing. Like, it was, and it was the first one. It was our first member to leave. And Willow had only just come back from hiatus. So we actually only did 2 shows as 5 members, despite having 5 members for, like, a year almost. So we did my birthday and Christy's graduation as the only 2 5-men shows. So it was really raw, and it was like Muse never graduated. Like, we kind of like slipped into a hiatus and all doing our own things, and we never really had that kind of sad show closure moment. And we don't really need to, because I still see all the members, I talk to all of them. They're all still around. They're all still part of my lives. And Christy still is, but she's a lot further away now.
Right.
So I can't, she can't just come to shows. She can't just come and help out. So that was really hard. And then, yeah, Willow came back for a little bit and then ended up going on hiatus again, and she graduated almost exactly a year later. It was very funny. They were announced their graduations at the same show. She wanted us to be a party, and it wanted to be happy. So the vibe was very different at Willow's graduation, because she wanted it to be a celebration of what she'd done that far. And she was not planning on doing Idol anymore, but she still lives in Sydney. I still get to see her. She still, like, she came to the EP release show. Like, she's still around. I can still physically see her. But it was very strange. And there was definitely, like, we call it Gen 2, because there was like losing Christy and Willow's voices, the dynamic of the group shifted a little bit. Not in a good or a bad way. It's just the voices are different than when Fable originally started. And we also had a huge popularity spike a bit before Willow left, so we kind of had to change the way we were doing things and allocating things because there were just more audience members, more sales, more stuff. So there was like a big, like we had, I swear, like I had a meeting every week for like 3 months to try to get on top of everything. So it was really like a big shift. But I'm quite happy now, and like it all worked out in the end. But it was definitely a different dynamic at first because I hadn't known May and Naya as long, and that kind of first year they were kind of, they hadn't done Idol before this, so unlike Christy and Willow and I had been doing Muse or whatever, this was their first experience, so they kind of settled in now. They knew what, they had input finally, which is really exciting to see them be like, no, I think we should do it this way, or I want to try doing this, or I want to do that. It was so exciting to see them grow that way. So that was really exciting. I was talking to May yesterday, and they were like, I'm 2 whole years old now. And I was like, oh god, you're a toddler. You're the Fable toddlers. We don't have Fable babies anymore. We have the Fable toddlers. Which I think sums them up pretty well now.
Did you, I guess, like, with the transition of, like, Naya and Mayhem, I guess, like, not filling the shoes, but, like, being, well, I guess, for lack of a better term, might as well say, like, filling the shoes of, like, Christy and Willow, since it's now a trio.
Yeah, we're back to the trio.
I mean, like, did it take a lot of time to, like, you know, build up that chemistry as a trio, or, like...
I think we'd done a fair bit of the building beforehand, because we performed with Christy a lot as 4, and so we started, like, the friendships at that point. And, you know, like, Mayhem started to come out of her shell a little bit. Naya was getting to know the way we spoke and was also sort of doing this. And then, yeah, by the time we came down to actually 3, they were confident enough with me that they wanted to have an input and would put their foot down and be like, this is what I think, this is what I want. And that made me really happy, actually. My only goal with Fable has ever been for everyone to have fun, and we'll keep going as long as everyone's having fun. I think, like, even though after Christy graduated, even though Willow was back, she still was with the opt-in, opt-out. She didn't do a heap of shows because she still had a lot happening. So we did a lot of 3-man before then. It was just... So we'd still been developing that a little bit. So we kind of, like, 3-man, 4-man on and off again that year. So, yeah, we had the big popularity spike. And so it was like, we need some new systems, new plans. Like, you know... The Naya and Mayhem have very different skill sets compared to Christy and Willow, so what we were good at and could do internally changed compared to what we needed to outsource, and it's a big sort of shift this way. But I don't know, I think it ended up, I think we work really well as a team. I think we've got a lot of benefits to us. I think, like, our voices blend really well. I think we all suit each other's energy very well. I think we make a really great team. I truly do. I think the one problem we have is sometimes we struggle to understand each other a little bit, but we have, you know, members who are neurodivergent, we have members who speak 8 languages. Like, there's a lot of room for error, so there was a bit of a period where we were learning to communicate with each other, especially on more, like, sensitive subjects, but I think we're getting there too. Like, we wrote a whole song about it, so I think it's we're getting to the stage where we can keep communicating until we work out what each other actually means, and I think that's really important.
Interesting. Slight sidetrack here, slight detour. You do love sewing, you do costume design. I gotta ask, like, did you create, like, the first wave of, like, costumes for Fable, or...
I have made all the Fable costumes.
I see.
I designed all of them, and then some of them the others have helped sew. But yeah, primarily I am the costume designer of Fable. The original jackets I made and designed, and then I upgraded them, rehashed them when we got 5 members. Iconic jackets, but the Galaxy costumes, the tutus, the Lunar New Year may have made their own. The Galaxy ones, I made mine and May and Nays, but Christy and Willow made their ones. Like, yeah, but pretty much the costumes are all me, yeah.
Was there like any influences that like came to your head when like creating these costumes?
Well, Fable has lore, uh, and the lore has shifted a lot compared to when we started. But originally, when we started, each member had a guardian title, which we still have. So I'm the guardian of happiness currently. And when we first debuted, we had guardian of the future, guardian of the past, and guardian of chaos. And they kind of represented the music we liked, and the kind of theming that we liked. So the whole idea was Christy really liked futuristic sci-fi streetwear kind of stuff and sounds. So her aspect of what the sound in our repertoire was going to be like referenced that. And then the first costumes, because they were the costumes for our first show, Fable the Future, the first Guardian, were Christy themed. And there was supposed to be a set that would then I was Fable the Past because I like more retro Harajuku fashion. I like old 80s sound music. Like I like a bit more morning musume type stuff. That was sort of meant to represent me, etc., etc. And we were supposed to have a costume set that represented all those kind of aspects. So in the lore of the Fable Power Rangers, Space Ranger on the spaceship, we live on a spaceship in like the future. So the uniforms were supposed to be what we wore on the spaceship on like a daily basis, you know. It was like a spacesuit we'd made look trendy Barbie style, you know. So it was kind of came from that. And then they weren't supposed to be like the core branding uniform. They were supposed to be for the video, and then we were gonna make a new costume set for the debut live that was like the actual debut costumes. They were designed and everything. But the jackets, everyone adored the jackets, so we were like, we gotta wear the jackets on stage, don't we? And they kind of made their own place in that sense.
I see.
And everyone just really liked them.
Yeah, I do like the costumes, like
I like them.
the new EP ones, which I don't know what happened to the stream on Twitch, but I remember seeing it. It was great. And then the I guess the ones that you were like mainly using, they were pretty cool too. So
the superhero ones, the new ones, yeah, they're supposed to be reminiscent of like if the uniform jackets are like what we're wearing on the spaceship more normally. If we then leveled up like we Power Ranger, you know what I mean? Like, what's that costume? That was the brief. So the new ones are supposed to be like the power up off we go costumes. So I don't know. I've never made anything like the new costumes before, so I was a bit nervous, but I think they came out really fun.
I guess like it took a lot of time for like the new costumes to like arrive or like be created. Like when do you think the next like outfits are gonna be?
I'm not sure. It'll depend when the need arises. We probably be a while. Like core costume wise, we don't do very often because a big part of costume is they should be recognizable. So we should be rocking up to a con or a Thai bar and someone should be able to go, oh, that's Fable, I recognize them. You know? So, you know, like we did Lunar New Year costumes this year because we ended up with like 4 or 5 shows that were all Lunar New Year themed. We were like, well, let's make a thing of it, you know? So probably something along those lines will be kind of the vibe. I'm not sure if we'll have another new costume this year. We might. We probably won't. Because they take a lot out of me. There's so much work.
On average, how long do you like from start to finish, like how long does it take to like create a costume?
Unfortunately, I never end up with enough time I need to make the costumes, so I always end up staying up incredibly late for days on end to get them done in time. Just because that's the only time we get. Like, if I'm working and then all my free time is for Fable, and then Fable wants to do extra things, it just becomes the late at night thing, you know. So it is what it is. But I probably spent 2-3 weeks making the new Power Ranger costumes, and like staying up between 2 and 5 a.m. each night. So I'd get home from work and I would start sewing, and I would, and then yeah, the days I didn't have like recording or rehearsal or whatever, so like maybe like 4 days a week, maybe like 12 days, staying up really late. It was a lot. It's a lot. I don't even know.
It's a lot of.
I just spend every second sewing until they're done.
It's a lot of thought, like, and effort, like, put into the costumes, and like the result, it's good. So yeah.
Thank you. I hope it's worth it. I think it's worth it. I'll do my best. I think very hard. There's a lot of like detail that goes into costume designing that's not obvious to the eye because it shouldn't be, like the flattering different personalities and dance styles, and trying to make some things obvious and other things not obvious, and like making them not too hot for performing in summer in Australia. Oh, that's a challenge too.
Speaking of recording, might as well just segue into our next section with the EP that released, I guess more than a month now ago.
Yeah.
To the Future. Stream To the Future if you haven't. It's good. Please.
Yeah.
I guess I asked May this, but like, when did you decide to like actually create original stuff rather than cover stuff?
The timeline for this is both incredibly long and incredibly short. For To the Future specifically, it was a speed run, but in terms of original music, we did the concepting around the same time we filmed Correlation. Like we wanted to do music. But we knew that early in the game that we couldn't do music. We didn't have the skill sets needed. We didn't have the funds needed. We had no idea how to do it. We just knew we wanted to. So I talked to Christy a lot about it over that first year, and like what kind of I wanted to do, and I wanted a song to represent each member in their Guardian theme, like the costume. It was like all tied together. It was a huge thing. But you know, at this point, we only sang like, in our debut show, I think we sang 2 songs in the whole hour show. You know, we only sang 2 of them. Like, we can't perform original music yet. Let alone, like, I barely know how to plug my mic in. How am I going to record a song? So, we had the intention of original music in our mind always, but not the skill set to do it or the funds. So, we kind of, as we went along and we got better at singing, that was a conscious thought, like we want to learn to do off vocals so that way we can perform original music. We want to learn to record covers so we can practice recording so that we can record our original music. Like, it was a very conscious thought in everything, trying out, like, we didn't even know what our sound was yet, so like building our repertoire, seeing what songs we like, what do we perform well, what does our audience respond well to, what kind of music do we want to make. Was a huge process in that regard. And then as we added 2 more members, it became a 5-song EP, and we kind of vaguely themed it to each Guardian type. And then we knew the songs we used most regularly from our repertoire, so we were kind of like, this one needs to fill this kind of gap, this one needs to fill this kind of gap, so that way every show we go to, even if we can only do one, we always have an original song that we can do. So there was a lot of banning around it, and then Christy graduated, so it got pushed back.
Oh.
And then we started building up. We had Garden Anthem ready. Willow graduated. Everything got pushed back. So, we then spent before leading up to Willow's graduation, and then through the beginning of this year, we spent a lot of time doing every single show we could possibly get our hands on to raise money, because the EP was incredibly expensive. And we didn't want to fundraise for it. It was our first one. We really wanted to it was particularly me, I really wanted to show what we could do first. It'd be like, this is what we're capable of making. This is the skill set we have. Support us and we can make more. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be like, trust me, I can make a good EP. I've done one vocal cover ever. It was like, I'd been around in the community a while, just didn't. I don't think it's wrong to fundraise, but it didn't feel right for me in my case. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to show everybody. I guess I'm a bit stubborn, but so we went full steam ahead with it around December or January, and we had I had a month by month schedule, and she was tight. If we wanted to get it done by June. And we booked the show for June. We were like, this is when it's coming out, guys, so we better fucking get it finished. And we just went balls to the wall. Yeah, we kind of... It's like even hard to show the original concepting and be like, this is the concepting for the album, because it changed so much as it went along, because it's like commissioning art. You're like, this is the kind of art I want, and it arrives and it looks nothing like that, but also it's perfect. You know what I mean? And we had that with the instrumentals a lot. So, you know, we'd ask for one thing and it didn't actually really come out like what we were intending or fit the slot of the EP it was supposed to, but it fit somewhere else and it worked in another way. So we kind of ended up with the 5 instrumentals and went from there. So they're not as like strictly themed or anything as the original concepting kind of came out, but they still cover all those bases. You know, I could still loosely tie them back to the original Guardian concepts of all 5 members, you know, so I don't know, it's cool.
So there was a lot of production. Oh my god, I need a cough. 1 second. Hold up. Oh my god, we're both sick. I'm so sorry.
Cha-la-la-la-la-la. Woo. There's no coughing here. Everyone is so healthy.
And we're back. So healthy. It's...
So healthy. Stop being
sick? No. So you did production with, I guess, with the EP. How long? Oh, the origin was like ever since FAEBLE debuted, you had the concept of producing music. How like, so like when you booked the show at June, how long beforehand was the EP completed?
It needed to be done a month before the show to get on the streaming platforms, because we also wanted it on streaming before the show. So it could take up to 4 weeks for streaming platforms to approve your music. So like this is how we worked backwards timeline wise, like this, to work out if we could get it done by June, because we wanted it to come out before Smash.
Right.
But we wanted streaming to come out before the show. So it was like, I did a lot of maths and tracked everything backwards about how long it was going to take. So we wanted it to be finished by the end of May. It was not. It was finished about mid-June, but that ended up being okay. It got approved. It got up on streaming services. It was done well in time for the show, but the thing is, like, to do choreography, you need the song.
Right.
So, but for us, it was just like recording and mixing took a while. So we had to do a few re-records, which like set us back a little bit. Excuse me. So that set us a little bit. We had the instrumentals ahead of time. We knew the tune because we'd already recorded it. We could sing it. So most of the choreography, like for Akirama and I, we were doing it to the instrumental and like singing it because we didn't have a record. Yeah, we're coming up with all the choreography. So yeah, it is finished. Like, these are the final files. They can go on the CD, like, I think less than 2 weeks before the show. And we got the 1 CD.
Buy the CD if you can. Yeah.
Please buy
viewers,
the CD.
Please buy a CD. They have a whole box, please.
The whole box. We have a lot of CDs, yeah. But they're very cool. They have little lyric books. I did all the graphic design, so please, it would mean a lot if you bought it. I worked really hard on it. There was a lot of, like, me sending it to Naya to put into the CD maker. People are being like, Sunny, you need to shift it less than a millimeter to the left. And so I'm like, And then I re-export sent it. I'm like, please. They're like, no, one more. I'm like, we spent like a whole hour doing this to get it finalized. But it's a very cool CD. I like it a lot. I'm biased because I made it, but this comes with a little lyric booklet. There's a lyric book. I'm very proud of my lyric booklet. Yeah, there is a keychain which looks like the CD. It has the same. The CD comes out, it spins. It looks just like the CD in the actual CD. It's very cool. Very cool. It should be online soon.
Yeah.
I've been sick. It's coming soon.
Yeah. I guess with the EP, was there like I'm pretty sure I asked May this, but was there anything that you could have done differently with the EP?
Like possibly. I think it's one of those things. Like if you have more time and more money, like you can do. It's hard to tell when it stops. Do you know what I mean? I think like I don't have any regrets, so I don't think I would change anything. I think Naya phrased it really interestingly because we got asked on this question on Instagram. We were talking about it in the group chat, and hers was like, if we had more time, things might have been different. But the keyword there is might, because we don't know because we didn't have more time. So it's like, you know, I think I would have liked a little bit more time with the choreography, because we got lovely choreo from Juju Bond for Hypersleep and Wolf, but I would have liked to rehearse it a bit more, tweak it a bit more, possibly, but otherwise I don't really have a lot of regrets. Everything is... We had to compromise a lot this whole EP for everyone to be happy with it, but I think I'm pretty satisfied. For me, it's like, I would rather... It's time to make the next EP, you know? And then we apply everything we learned to that. I don't know. I was very happy with what created. I was really proud of us. I think maybe I'm just a bit blindsided by being proud of my members.
I mean,
to really critique it too
it's
much.
a long time coming, so you should probably, you know, be proud of like the outcome. And
I think it's really incredible for the first time. So I don't have much that I would say about it or change at all. Really, I think I would have liked. I would have recorded Akirama and I different now. There's a few lines, but I didn't have the time to do that. So like, I could do it differently now. If I had a little bit, if I could record just that song now, I would sing it a bit differently. But I still think it's fine. So sing it a bit different live. So if you hear it live, that's why.
What would you say like was your favorite track to, I guess, create or record?
I'm really attached to two more conceptual songs, Hypersleep and Wolf, because I think because they're more conceptual, there's more to be attached to, I guess. But Hypersleep was really interesting because the concept for that has followed me for a really long time. When I was like 15, I listened to an instrumental of a K-pop song and I was like, whoa, this gives you like the feeling of like traveling, being hypersleep and like traveling at hyperspeed. I wonder if there's more songs like this. And there is not. It was very niche. It's a niche I've been searching for forever. And yeah, I could only do it with instrumentals because I never found a song that had lyrics that matched that energy. So I've had it as a song idea because I used to write music in high school for ages and ages and ages, but like electronic is not very like skill suit at all. So it's been cooking for ages. And when we came back from the first hiatus, in space jail from the pandemic, right? When we thought it was going to be a lot earlier and not right at the end of the year for the birthdays again, we toyed with doing a comeback show after the hiatus and theming it around getting out of space jail. So it was supposed to be like we've been released from Shaper, we're all waking up from hypersleep. It was a much darker kind of show. It was a FAEBLE concept that never got used. So when we came around and I heard this instrumental for the first time, those two things converged in my brain and I was like, guys, I'm writing a concept, wait. So that was very cool to me, and so I wrote it all up, and they're like, "Yeah, that sounds sick," and expanded on it, and we sent it to our lyricist, and our lyricist really did a great job with it. It's really scary handing over your art concept baby to someone to write the lyrics for you in another language. But I had zero complaints. I think we made 0 changes to the Hypersleep lyrics. I think that was how we got them. They were perfect. I think it's such a cool concept and such a cool song, and I think Pastel did really amazing with it. And I also adore Wolf. Wolf was like the first of the instrumentals. We liked all the instrumentals, but when we heard the Wolf instrumental start to sound like this for the first time, we all kind of like, it really hit different. Mayhem and I in particular were really into Wolf. We thought it was such a beautiful instrumental, and we had a lot of variations with it. We worked back and forth with Mizno a lot on Wolf in particular, and it was really cool to see it shape into something, and then hearing it sound like this for the first time, we were like, what? And then I think like I really liked the Wolf is a bit special because it was the only concept that wasn't kind of pre-planned and worked into the instrumental. It was the only one where we heard the song and we're like, this is what it's gonna be about. So we heard that instrumental for the first time, and we were talking about it because we were so excited. And I was like, it feels like running, like it feels like throwing yourself into a like sprinting. And I was like, yeah, like in a forest, like a wolf. Ah, woo! Like I'm a lone wolf. I'm in the forest. And I was like, actually, guys, I know you're fucking around right now, but I'm writing a concept. I have a brain worm. So, and it was about this time where we were all exhausted because we'd been working really long days trying to get stuff done and trying to talk to each other, and we were already like recording bits of other songs, and we were having communication issues, or had been having communication issues where like we don't understand each other off text a lot of the time. We have to voice note because we just like the tone is not toning. And that was like a big experience for us. So this whole kind of again convulsed in my brain, and it became like using a wolf. Like a wolf's like work better in a pack, and they communicate with each other and all that, but there's also like the werewolf human aspect, and using that to kind of explain. We all often feel like we're saying one thing and everyone is understanding another thing, and it's very frustrating for us because we're not trying, that's not the meaning we're trying to convey. And it's something all 3 of us suffer with. And so we were using I used the werewolf to human to show that kind of struggle, like being perceived as a wolf when you're a human, but being perceived as a human when you're a wolf, and trying to struggle with this change, and which one is the real answer then? Am I actually being mean? Am I actually coming across a different way? It was, yeah, it's a very personal song. It's truly about our experience and our experience in making this EP and communicating with each other as Fable, so it's very special to me.
Interesting. I guess we have a bunch of, some people that haven't listened to Fable yet. I guess like what is like one song you would recommend for them to listen to?
The most beginner friendly one is Sakebose. I love Sakebose. Sakebose is so good. Sakebose, we heard the instrumental, and the others were like, oh, I don't know about this Sunny, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever heard. If we don't, we're putting it on the EP. I love it so much. It's very rocky, it's very friendly, it's very never give up, let's go, don't be a loser. Get your shit together. It was supposed to be much more get your shit together, but it ended up just being very woo, which is fine. I enjoy. It's a good song. You should give that one a listen. It's the last one on the EP. It's written in Japanese, so it's a bit confusing. But if you just click the last one, it's the most beginner friendly, and then you can kind of work back from there. I think Wolf is very beginner friendly too. Wolf is everyone's second favorite track.
I guess with the talk of the EP now done, we must go to the future. To the Fable future. I guess like, is there any like bucket list things that you want to accomplish while as a member of Fable?
I was thinking about this the other day. and I've honestly hit most of them. Like most of the things I wanted to do with Fable, I've gotten to do, and I'm very, very lucky. But it's always been very as long as we're having fun, we'll keep going. So what's the next goal? What's the next goal? So it's been very one as opposed to like a bucket list, but truly the only one I kind of have left, because we released an EPs and we've got music. I want to do more music, obviously, but like it's a tick box. The only tick book list I want to do a performance in Japan. I don't care if it's a 10-minute set at the shittiest time art you've ever seen and there's 2 people there. I just want to say I did it. That's my one thing. I want us to perform as the 3 of us as Fable in Japan and do an original. Akinawa and I in Japan. That's all I want.
There's been what? Paida did a set. Non-Sweet is doing a bunch of Taibans. We had Aiden on, who regularly did a lot of like Taiban performances. Marmalade did a few, so hey, never say never.
We have the connections to get a slot. The main issue is, in particular for me, getting the money to fly to Japan.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, that's like the one thing. So, in particular, Sunny is the broke member of Fable, so Mayhem's pretty broke these days too, actually. But whoa, I want to go to Japan. I've never been.
It's fun, and I guess like without me going to Japan, Idoleyez would have never happened. So yeah.
Right? Who knows? What if I go to Japan? What will happen then?
What will happen? Something super life changing, super duper canon event will happen.
Oh, maybe. Goodness, that's a bit scary, actually. Oh. Canon life events just waiting for me in Japan.
If it can happen to me, it could happen to you. So who knows?
Yeah. That's my one thing. We've been very lucky. We got to do so many cool things. I think like the Smash Bender we just did, where we got to be all over Smash, doing all different performances and stuff, was a big goal for me as well. I feel like we've conquered Smash. I think I could tick that off. Yeah.
Is there like any like dream venue that you want to do?
I feel like a few people said this in the other podcast, but I don't have a specific dream venue. I'd love to do an outdoor performance. I've done one before as a K-pop performance. I did the K-pop World Festival, which is a really big K-pop performance, and it was outside at night. And just like you do a dance move, and I just looked up and I could see stars, and it was incredible. So I'd really like to do one outside again. I think it hits completely different. Otherwise, I don't know. I see everyone performs at Zepp. I want to. I know it's in Japan, but I don't know. I want to be there now too. I read it too much. The word is in my brain, and it's cooking. You know, it's there. Way.
So at Smash, you did a bunch of performances, but you also did do a panel called Idol 101 or 102. I don't know which one you you did both 101 and 102.
Other than Christy, who hosted them, I was the only one who did both.
So with that panel, you did do well, there's no footage of it, but like judging from like it's coming soon. Judging from like the summary, which is like giving general advice to upcoming idols, we have a bunch of like idols that have recently debuted that do regularly watch this show. Do you have like any advice in general for them?
All right, I'm gonna get real and Australian with you guys, okay? All right, my biggest advice for idols: stop fucking whinging and just fucking do it. That's it. The amount of even Oz idols and like established Oz idols who I still have this conversation with, it's gonna be something that you've got to fight with the whole time. If you want to do something, do it. You can. With hard work and stubborn determination, you can do fucking anything. Absolutely anything. We've built a whole idol scene in Australia, of all places, because we fucking felt like it, you know? We wanted to perform. There was nowhere to perform. So we made a space to do it. We built one during a pandemic. And it exists now. It's here. We can all be a part of it. You know, I have a lot of people, oh, I don't like being in a solo. I'd like to be in a group. I don't want to do this. This is the problem. Just do it then. Make a group. Just give it a try, you know? And my other big tip, particularly for babies or people starting out or a bit smaller, do not compare yourself to idols who've been doing this for a really long time. Yes, aspire to be there, but you've got to compare. If you're at debut and you're looking at FAEBLE now, of course you're going to struggle. You need to look at FAEBLE at debut. How did we debut? What were we doing when we first started? You know, we were doing streams, we were doing this, we were trying to raise money for mics. Look at that. If you want to get to where we are, find us at your level and then follow your way through. I see a lot of people go, oh, I want to be like such and such bigger idol group. I need to run my own show. That's not what we were doing when we were you. Like, that's not gonna necessarily get you there. Running lives is a completely separate thing to performing, and it can be really detrimental if you fuck it up, because it's a lot of time input, it's a lot of expectation, it's a lot of money. Be a bit careful. But yeah, just fucking do it. Stop whinging. Especially the Americans, alright? I'm speaking to the Americans now. I'm getting real. We're getting close to the camera. Just fucking do it. Alright, I hear a lot of, oh, we don't have a scene like Australia. Oh, we don't have a dedicated WOTA scene. Oh, we don't have live house venues. Neither do we. Neither did we. We don't have fucking shit. All right. When the pandemic hit, the only WOTA we had who used to go to AGS 10-2 disappeared. They were gone. They were absolutely gone. There was nobody. We did our first shows. The 8 people sitting in seats who weren't allowed to cheer because we wanted to do shows. There was no lighting. There's no nothing. I think when you see SCAC now, I don't think it's very hard to tell from online and from far away. It is a room with a stage that you can build. So we haul it out of the cupboard. We put it together ourselves. We had to buy our own zip ties, or we've got custom made like ratchet straps to hold it together because it comes apart. The lighting, we bring our own lighting. We bring our own microphones. We bring our own mixer. This is all our gear that we bring to this room that we've collected over the years. When we started out, we weren't doing any singing because we didn't own microphones. There was no lighting. It was one guy on a push slider who would turn it off between songs and then slide back. It was like our mate, you know, from down the street. He didn't even know what an idol was. It's just press play on the iPhone, you know? This was it. And now we've got, you know, a lighting desk and a this and that, the other. But you've got to start at the start and you've got to put the effort in. There was no, like, we don't have anything that you guys don't have. It's straight up, we actually have less people, so that's me being harsh, but whenever I talk to people online, the first thing they ask me is, how do you guys have lots of shows? How do you have this? Pure stubborn Australian determination. That's the So that's my advice. Just give it a fucking hot go and keep giving it a hot go. And then you'll get there.
So yeah. Oh no, just do it. Just fucking go for it.
Just fucking do it and stop fucking whinging! No one wants to hear you whinge. Your job as an idol is to make it fun from everyone else. So you're complaining. Don't get on stage and be like, I'm sorry this is not the best show, or I'm sorry I didn't practice much, or I'm sorry I'm not very good. I don't want to hear it! I'm gonna have a good time. So simply do. And be happy, and I'll be happy. If you're having a good time, I'm having a good time. We're just here to have fun. Alright?
I mean, you brought up the Sydney Idol scene. I guess, like, since performing and, like, I guess establishing a foundation for the idol scene in Sydney, what are some things that, like, the scene could improve on?
There's a lot of things our scene could improve on, but there's a lot of things our scene is also really great at. And we have a very wholesome community here. I think the biggest thing we struggle with right now is we're kind of in between. We're not big enough to upgrade to bigger spaces, but we're not small enough now that we can do whatever we want in the spaces that we have. So I think our audience needs to be conscious of each other and the people that are in the space and they're sharing with, and making sure it is still welcoming for new people to come and give it a try. because by growing our audience, that grows our community. That means we get cooler venues and cooler opportunities. So Pit Boys, talking to you. We gotta share space a little bit, just a little bit. I think also there's like a big hyperfixation on like having to run a one live to be like a one man to be, just to be the idol. You know, you've got to have a one man show, and I don't think you need to right now. If the scene allows you to just do tie bans as a baby and like build yourself up that way, that's absolutely a good way to go about it. Like, it's not the be all end all. It is a lot of hard work, and it's honestly, we've gotten more like bad, what's the word, like, I don't really know, like our popularity has got a bit because we've had a slightly bad one man as opposed to like just being at a timer, you know, like there's the chance it's gonna tank you a little bit, so just be a bit careful. But I don't know, I think we need to be trying to expand our community more, and we need to be thinking about the experience from the audience's perspective. Do we have chairs for them to sit down? Are we ensuring that people aren't putting their stuff on the chairs so people can sit down? Are there enough chairs? You know, is it fun from the perspective of an audience member, not just from your perspective as an idol? Like, do they really understand the inside joke that makes this funny to you guys? You know, just really trying to put yourself into the shoes of people in the audience and everyone in the audience, not just, you know, like, are the Pit Boys gonna have fun, but are the people who are here for the first time and sitting down gonna have fun? You know, I think it's just about having fun and just growth. It's, as we grow, there's going to be a lot to learn. I think, you know, just continuing to support each other and being there for each other is what got us this far. And I think we need to keep doing that and be more for it, you know, and keeping each other in the loop. I feel like I just made zero sense whatsoever.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. No.
But yeah, I think our scene is in a very in-between point at the moment. I think we're at, I've been calling it end of an era, but it feels like we're between generations because we've got a lot of our older idols are graduating or have graduated. You know, we had a lot of graduations the last year or so. There's been more than ever before. We've got a lot of new babies here who are looking to keep trying and stepping up. Don't be afraid to ask your older idols for advice, but also older idols, please try and support your babies because they are the future of the scene. You know, when you get tired and don't want to do this anymore, we hand it over to them. And if they're not ready or not supported, what happens to our scene, you know? So we gotta look after each other.
I see. I guess in a couple years from now, where do you see the scene going?
At this point, I don't know. It's very tricky because we are in this sort of, I think what's going to happen in the next few months to a year is really going to define that, personally. Because, yeah, we're losing a lot of our older members and have lost a lot of our older members. Things are, you know, new gen should be coming through, but I'm not sure, like, yeah, it's really hard to predict right now. I really want our scene to keep growing and becoming better, and it definitely has the capacity to. I think we're getting to the point where we almost have the capacity that someone could start a live house in Australia. We've got enough idols who can perform and will perform that we can have performances there really, really consistently, you know what I mean? And break even, like with bloody SCAC we funded. We've had SCAC booked out for years now, you know? I think there's so much potential in our community, but which way that's going to go is going to be really defined about what everyone does in the next year or so. So let's have it be great, you know? Let's support each other. Let's support our scene. Let's support our audience. Let's support our venues. Let's support our solo idols. And let's see where we can take it, you know? If we're having fun, that's really precious. We should look after it. I really hope everyone continues to look after it because I think what we've built here is really, really special. I think I'm so happy that finally people overseas have noticed we exist. I've been trying for years. because I think what we have is so special, and it's not like anywhere else. And I really want to keep that way. I really want it to continue as the positive, happy, welcoming space that it is.
Right.
I really hope it gets to a point where we can pay idols, so that way we don't all keep graduating from. Oh, I have to go ask you more for that.
I mean, for me, like, I didn't even know there was like a Sydney idol scene. Like, I was so new to this that I thought there was like only a scene in Japan. And then when I met Ria and then Gumi, I guess like researching them and then finding these other groups and like also like following them on Twitter, and then FAEBLE, Amuse, Etude, Citrus Plus, all of their Twitter accounts were like recommended to me, so I was like, okay, I'll follow them. And that's how I knew.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew that there was like a scene there. I was like, whoa, oh my god. So it's very interesting and unique that like there's a dedicated scene in Sydney and in Australia in general. Like, you know, in Brisbane, Melbourne, you know, a bunch of those places just like having a scene there, like homegrown, homebrew, whatever. But like, yeah,
they're starting to grow their own. They're really trying to be like Sydney, and they want to get like Sydney. But the same advice I said before applies to you guys. Like, look at Sydney when we started out, not Sydney now. You gotta build your community. You've got to support each other. But yeah, I've honestly, I don't know. It was really hard to. I think it's just such a niche thing, and then it's really hard to connect with people on the internet, because I feel like for the last few years I've been like screaming at a brick wall trying to get, hello, Australian idols are here, and everyone's just gone nowhere. So I like, it's hilarious to me that Ria and Gumi had to move to Japan and then talk to international people in Japan, and that's what's done it.
yeah.
Like, I've been posting on the internet for years, mate. But you know what? I'm very grateful. I'm very happy. We've surprisingly got a lot of fans, actually. They go, oh, Ria and Gumi told me about you in Japan. I didn't know there was a scene in Australia. I'm like, you live in Australia. Did you not Google it? But yeah, it happened. Same with May and Nay. The reason May and Nay came into FAEBLE so guns raring, into the scene guns raring, is because they loved idols already. They didn't know there were idols in Sydney. They lived in Sydney. They just found out recently. Like, Naya in particular was like, always dreamed of being this idol. I'll talk about it before. I had no idea there was a scene in Sydney until they found me through K-pop and realized I had a J-pop group as well.
It's very interesting, and thankfully there's an outlet that like you can, I guess, like connect with overseas fans and have more potential overseas fans. So yeah,
yes, finally connecting. I feel like I'm also finally connecting with idols from overseas too, which I've always wanted to do. But let me talk to you. I feel like a lot of them post online and be like, I want to be like Australian idols, and yet have never spoken to an Aussie idol. We're very friendly. I will tell you all my secrets in essay form on request. And I have done many times. Well, the same for babies. Like, they come here, ask a question, I would give you an essay. I have people call me from other states, be like, Sunny, this is going wrong with my show. I don't know what to do. I'm like, are you in Melbourne right now? They're like, yeah. Do you know what to do? It's fine. I will answer any questions. I love yapping. I want to hear about your scene. I feel like there's always this critique on Australia, like, post more on YouTube, post more. Where are you guys posting, huh? I want to watch American live shows. I
mean, that's a good question. Cause like, some people, it depends on the idol themselves. Cause like, the first time I saw a US Kai guy idol like stream a show was Pawn Ranger. Pawn Ranger had their birthday live, streamed it.
Yes, the birthday one.
And that was on YouTube. I don't know if like a bunch of people, I don't like, I'm still like very new to this, that I don't really see a lot of like full US Kai guy performances. Even with the ones I went to, which was Natsumatsuri last June, there's not a lot of footage. I don't even think they like recorded the whole thing. You had to like rely on like social media posts, which I did. Idol Party LA, which was like a hotbed of like a lot of idols there. I don't think there was like no stream, and I don't know if they've recorded it. And then again, the only thing you could see was from like social media posts. So like, I don't
Yeah, and it
know.
was like, social media posts from people like you. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing a lot from the actual idols.
Yeah,
I'd see. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. All right, Americans. I'm on Twitter. I see your graphic announcements. Did you go? I don't know. I see the next graphic announcement. Did you even go there? Were you there? Did you
yeah.
perform?
It's
I don't know.
yeah. Like I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we really need like more, I guess, like footage or like more people recording the actual show.
Just like clips. Just clips.
Yeah.
Just clips. Get your staff to do it. Your staff at your show should be filming clips for social media for you. Just
Right.
tell them to film some shitty stuff on your phone and then put it on Twitter. That's it. That's all I want. I just want to be like, whoa, look at them doing a little. I don't even know what the core repertoire is of half of these people. Like, what songs do you like to perform? I want to know. I feel like occasionally we get a here's my full concept video on YouTube, but I just want to. I'm flipping it around because we get this critique a lot as Australia. I want to watch your shows, but I don't know how. I want to see this. You guys never post. We post more than you guys, actually.
Yeah.
Where's my content? I want my content in return.
I'm so
I want
grateful.
my content in return.
I'm so grateful that you guys have like stream shows on Twitch, and then like 4Q1Q also has like stream shows with like Wooly and like the Idol Nexus Idol Box stuff most of the time. With us, we got nothing for the most part. So we really need to change that.
Yeah, and honestly, I know a lot of people don't stream because they're worried it will affect their ticket sales. When you're so spread out like that, not really. At least in our experience, the people in our streams who people either A, already couldn't come, B, were already on the fence so probably weren't coming, or people who live international interstate and can't come if they want to. You know, it's still getting your name out there, and especially if you do a delayed viewing. So that's why, like, ours are later also because it's just easier. It's, like, we don't have enough techies. It's not happening live, but that way there's still the FOMO, and then you get the FOMO of wishing you had been there, and it sells more tickets, actually. Like, just, yeah, put clips online. Put clips online. It doesn't have to be, I think a lot of people are just seeing what FAEBLE puts on Twitter at the moment because Twitter's not super popular with the Aussies. Our Pete's a bit like being stupid. Like, they're doing crazy stuff. You don't need to post that. I'm happy to see you being cute on stage. I'd be very happy. As to see. And like content too, please.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's Heaps Better Live. There you go. The stream is definitely the second-rate choice, but at least it's a choice.
I mean, like with us, it's very spread apart, but like there's like efforts to have, I guess, monthlies. I guess because like with Idol Party was so successful that like the organizers are planning to do like monthly shows, and like with Natsu Matsuri, they had like a very good amount of like ticket sales that they also want to do it like either monthly or bi-monthly. So if there's like interest, and if interest grows and like they do more shows, and you know we're in a good spot that like we can get more fans and whatnot, and then like you know the potential of like having stream shows or delayed viewings, it could help us. And then like you know it's interesting being into the scene very 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 like early, or like not really early, late into it, but like still learning like what our scene is like, what our culture is like compared to
early
you guys.
for live independent events for America, but you're not babies anymore, so get it together. just do it.
Like
And do it consistently. That's the thing. Like if you've got the opportunity to do it monthly, go for it. Most of us were doing one mans every 2 months or so when we started out. It was like every second or so month. And you only, like, depends on your venue, but like pricing wise, you need like, if you can get 20 people to come, 25 people to come, you're sweet. Off you go.
Yeah, it's like booking venues, it's pretty pricey here. Judging from like other people's experiences booking or like organizing like venues and stuff, but like other than that, like finding a hotbed or like a hot zone for like idols to perform it, which is basically just California, because like everyone, like most indie idols are in California, but like, and then like Idol Party LA pretty much just organized a bunch of like locals from that area, and especially like a special group from Japan to like perform there. But like pretty much California is the capital like place to like organize stuff.
Like, it's a hotbed, but that just means someone's done your work for you already. Make your own hotbed. Like, this is what I mean by building an audience community. You gotta build one. You've got to find the people in your area who like it. You know, go to cons. Everyone's performing at conventions. Why are you not taking these people to your idol community? Right. You know what I mean? That's what we do. We pick up new people at Smash every year. It's like, yeah, here's our 10 new recruits we're going to take through to next year, you know? And they all start coming to the other shows outside of as well. But and just build a new hotbed. That's what if you can't live in California, like, fair enough, but like, build a new hotbed. You don't have to have 100 people at a show. And like, you don't have to have big fancy venue. Like, their venues are incredibly expensive. You can find some community ones. They're not heap, but like, they exist. They're around. And like, you're just not going to have fancy lighting to start with, but it's your first show. I wouldn't expect that. There's going to be 15 people there, you know? And then, as you do more, invest in some lights, stick them on the sides, and it will get better. But you start little. You can't start up here. I mean, you're more on the organizer side of things, so that you're a bit different. But for the actual idols, you can start at the beginning. It's okay.
Right.
You started at the beginning.
Because like most people just start in cons, because like it is very much a concentrated like fan base of like anime fans and like people that might like idols and just watch like, you know, the usual idol matsuri or idol stage there. And then it's interesting, I guess, like to see if this thing, or like if this culture here in America grows, which it I guess being optimistic, it will, because like I believe I guess
you gotta build your, like, the idol attitude on being on stage is to just start and get better, right? And everyone wants to see you grow. They want to see that with your events too, not just you on stage. So like, start with your small event and then bop 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 bop, you know what I mean? Like, gradually keep getting them better, make them more fun, start getting better equipment, you know? It's exactly the same idol attitude. You can apply it to your events. You don't have to be the top tier best idol performers. Like, yeah, starters online. Yeah, there's not many cons here, so we can't kind of just... I feel like you can travel around America and do, like, several con performances a year. That's crazy to me. Like, we've got one? You can do one con? You fly all the way to Melbourne and do a second con? But that's new. The only reason you can perform at cons here now is because idols have been doing shows. It used to be, like, one con stage that you could perform at in Australia the whole year.
I see. Like... I mean, even with us, we're starting to break out of like the con circuit and having those events, which was like Natsumatsuri, Idol Party, and then like even with us, we do have like one dedicated idol con / concert, which is like Northwest Idol Fest.
Dedicated idol con.
Yeah.
Where's my dedicated idol con?
Northwest Idol Fest, which is having its last year in Seattle, but like they're moving in a very different location. But like, yeah, we have that, and I guess with that's been running since like 2020, so like 4 years. But like, even with like a idol focused convention / concert, I guess like we still need more events. And like with the success of Natsumatsuri on the East Coast, and then Idol Party on the West Coast, I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic that we're gonna get more stuff.
I hope so. I really want to see little idol run events in America. I don't know much about America, but I'll help. Whatever you need.
Yeah.
I would really love to see you guys flourish that way. That would make me so happy.
Yeah, it's I guess like doing this podcast and like seeing like other people's like I guess like experiences with live shows, especially like doing Aussie Open and like hearing like the culture through Mayhem, through you, through Amy. It's interesting to hear compared to like what we have here in America. So yeah.
I think we have. It's very different over here, which is really interesting. I'm like very interested to hear about the Americans and the vice versa, you know, because yeah, I feel like we've been in our little bubble here, not by choice, but I'm really glad to see it expanding. I'm so happy. That generally, I was so thrilled when you announced you were doing an Aussie arc on this. It was like, we've made it, boys. They're gonna talk about us.
Yeah, like I guess researching the scene and then actually interviewing people actually in the scene. It's very, I guess, eye-opening, I guess, to hear about. So yeah.
We have a lot of interesting stories here. I think it's just like the way we started and the way everyone's kind of. I mean, it's just a lot of interesting stories. I think you could just interview people endlessly and then just be all these silly stories just keep popping up. It's such a fun community. I'm very proud of it. It's everything to me, truly. I don't say that. I mean it very seriously. This Oz Idol scene is everything to me.
I guess on a somber note, what do you plan on doing after being an idol?
Honestly, I don't think I can see myself getting out of it. If I can't perform anymore, I'm probably going to be helping someone else to perform. I feel like I'm going to end up in a manager role. I still plan on making costumes. I am a costume designer by trade, so I'll be making costumes for a very long time, I assume. But I'm probably going to end up in another side of it. I think I'm very good at concepting. I think I'm very good at analyzing. I think I could be a really good asset as a manager, funnily enough. And I don't know. I'll see. I'm going to do it until I physically can't anymore, and then I'll find something. Because I can't help myself. So I think I'd love to mentor a group. I do a little bit already, to be honest, but being able to dedicate my time wholly to their admin and stuff so that they could just focus more on performing, I think would be a really nice way to give back. I think if like we had that, it would have been so helpful. So I'd love to give it to someone else when I'm able to.
I see. I guess, what would you, the current you in this current timeline, you go back to the past to the you that was about to perform for the first time as FAEBLE, as a member of FAEBLE, what would you tell them?
This question has been plaguing me for like 2 weeks because I've seen you ask everyone, so I knew it was coming, and I was like, oh, I think everything has become so important to me in terms of the Oz Idol community, everything and everyone, and I don't have any regrets about any of it. I think I've had some of my biggest highs and my lowest lows with this community, and I think I don't have a regret. There's nothing I want to change. So I think like the only thing I could tell them is like it's like I can't even imagine, like I couldn't have imagined where we would end up now, you know. I truly just wanted to try singing on stage and see how much fun I could have, and I will not cry but I'm truly blown away by where we got to. So I guess all I could do is say to like it's gonna be really hard and it's gonna be really great at the same time, and I think all of it will be worth it in the end for as long as you can do it, I guess. So I always feel like I'm on borrowed time because of my health issues, so I really feel like I always spend every opportunity and every minute like, how can I have the most fun now? And I'll do it for as long as I can. So I don't have any regrets. I just truly feel very blessed. So, you know, maybe I'll warn them that there's 2 little toddler goblins coming who are going to make your life so much better, but so much harder. There's more and they're on the way. Watch out.
I guess on a lighter note, here's a bonus section, because like, what was it with Crystal? With Crystal, she was so into K-pop, and I was like in the past like really into K-pop. So we did like a mini K-pop podcast section with you.
Oh, yeah.
You love the Ninja Turtles. I have that thing. I think like the comic cover of like I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So,
true. He's got little. I've never noticed that.
so I've been like into TMNT since I was a kid. So let's talk about it. It's very much a bonus section.
Noticed, like, you have some kind of chroma on, so my headphones have been like pink the whole time, and my Ninja Turtle is also pink.
Yeah.
But, no green allowed.
No green. So
No
this
green around.
isn't even about Idol. This is just about TMNT. Sorry about that, guys. But
Too bad, you're stuck here now. No leaving.
how did you get into TMNT?
I grew up with TMNT to start with. My dad really liked it. So we had like one VCR of the 87 cartoon. And then the 2003 cartoon series came out. So we had like the first few DVDs of that, and we were obsessed. We thought it was the best. I've always really loved it. I honestly never pursued it too much because it was a bit weird. Like, it was very much a sexism thing. Like, oh, I can't be into Ninja Turtles, I'm a girl. You know, like, my parents can be a bit, and the extended family, you can't be into Ninja Turtles, you're a girl. And then it's also a bit nerdy, you know. So I didn't really super pursue it. It was just always something I really liked until recently. And then when I was making the new, like, OT5 like FAEBLE stuff and sewing, I started rewatching the cartoons and just fell in love with them. I'd never even seen the whole thing because I didn't realize how much of it there was. I didn't realize there were 5 whole seasons.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like, I thought 2 existed and I was missing a few episodes for 2. No, there's 5. So I got to watch all of this for the first time. And like I was saying before, this is a bit of a sad story. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
My dad passed away, and I went to Tasmania to deal with all that, as the eldest child. And I had recently been watching the new TMNT cartoon that had come out, the Rise Against the Ninja Turtles one. And it very much became a coping mechanism because I'd been watching Rise, so excited to show it to my dad because he really liked Ninja Turtles, and I thought he would love the anime art style. I thought he would love the plot twist. I was really excited to show it to him, and then I didn't get to. And so I went down for the funeral and everything, and I watched it with all my siblings instead, and we watched all the cartoons. And I'd bought him for Christmas the comic collection, like an omnibus of the first, like, however many comics for him to read, because I was so excited to find out there were comics. I didn't know TMNT had comics. Yeah. So, basically, as a coping for him passing away, I really got into all of the Turtle media, and I watched it all, and I'd always loved it, but I fell in so much deeper, and I had no regrets anymore. I was like, I don't care. I like this. I'm going to like it. Everyone can know I like it. It's become a bit of like an autism special interest, and I feel like it can be off-putting at times because I'm a bit too obsessed, but I don't want to regret it anymore. I don't want to not be watching it or showing it or sharing it with people because, you know, it's cringy and then miss out again. So yeah, I've just always really loved it. Yeah, I've pretty much. So that I've been obsessed ever since. I'm reading the comics currently. That was how I fell into it. Just rewatched it all.
Have you seen the movies from the 80s?
Yes.
What's your favorite?
The first one.
I like the second one. I like Secret of the Ooze.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Secret of the Ooze is really popular. Actually, a lot of people say that, but I'm a sucker for the Return to New York arc, so of course one's my favorite.
Yeah.
And also it's the only one where Raph gets injured in the Return to the New York. It's one of the very few where it's Raph, so it's special to me for that reason.
What's your thoughts on 3? Time travel.
We don't talk about 3.
It sucks. Yes.
We don't talk about the third one. The third one doesn't exist. The third one doesn't exist. So bad.
Yeah, it's not
I
good.
didn't even remember how it goes. It's that bad. I was like, not watching that again.
Yeah, but like 2's my favorite because like they tone down the violence, but it's so iconic for me because like I watched as a kid. I had like the VHS and like I would watch on loop. So, and then like it's the opening scene with the pizza and then the fight in the mall and then it's just it's so iconic to me. So yeah.
I think it's very iconic. It's much more like Comedy Turtle, that one. It's giving the cartoon energy as opposed to the first one was a bit grungier, but I think they're both really good. I really like the first movie's got 2003 cartoon energy, whereas the second movie's got 87 energy.
Yeah.
That's the best way to explain it. But 03 is my favorite cartoon, so of course I'm biased.
Did you see the 2012 one?
Yes, I've seen all of 2012.
Wasn't there I didn't see like as a kid I watched like some episodes, but like now like I'm interested in it, but like I know there's like a plot twist with Leo and Karai and it's weird, but like yeah.
Yeah. It's not as bad as they make it out to be. Honestly, it's like they I think they're just like being very dramatic. It's kind of like, you know, Leo see hot girl can use swords, kind of like ooh, and then like actually you're evil, and then like finds out later that they're kind of related but not actually related. So like they're technically not. So it's like it's just very stupid. But 2012, like all the others, TMNT cartoons start out very lighthearted and they get very dark as you go on. So 2012 is no different. But it's a lot of TMNT is a lot of trauma wrapped in a very colorful packaging with pop culture silly references.
Have you played like any of the games, like the arcade games?
I played a little bit. I've got like they released it on Switch, right? Like the Shredder's Revenge and the Cowabunga collection. I have played through Cowabunga collection. I'm not as into arcade games. There is somewhere in Sydney actually that has all the arcade games, like the actual machines, that I've always wanted to go and look at them. That would be a lot more fun, but I find them on the Switch they're a bit boring.
Yeah, like for me, the first time I played Turtles in Time, which is an iconic Turtles game. It was like at a Chuck E. Cheese, which is like, I don't know if they have an Aussie equivalent, but it's like an arcade, and they have a mascot, which is like a gigantic mouse, a rat, but like
it's the scary rat guy.
Charles Entertainment Cheese. But like, there was like a Turtles in Time machine that I would always play. Like I would like waste all my quarters just trying to beat this game, and then like, when I came back to this specific Chuck E. Cheese, they destroyed the machine and they replaced it with some random ticket game, which sucks. But like,
that's horrible. That's horrible. What an iconic machine to get rid of.
Yeah, like I go outside and they have it near the dumpster and it's like smashed up, and like it's not great.
And they regret it now. It'd be worth so much.
Yeah, it would. But like,
Yeah, I wish I didn't go to the arcade for the first time until I was maybe like 17, because I grew up in rural Australia. Like I grew up in the countryside, so we didn't have an arcade, so I never even seen one until I was quite old. So I didn't ever see the Ninja Turtle ones because it was, you know, by that point it's a bit too late to really have them in a lot of arcades. So I've always wanted to go and like seek some out. Yeah. So I've been to the arcade now. I live in Sydney, but yeah.
What else? What else can we talk about Turtles? Mutant Mayhem. What's your thoughts?
Mutant Mayhem. Art style was incredible. Worst character assassination of Raphael I've ever seen in my life. 2 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, I fucking hated Raphael in that movie. It was done really badly. So bad. It was a really unique take. Don't like Seth Rogen that much, but it was a really unique take on the Turtles story. It was a really unique way of doing it. My favorite thing about Ninja Turtles is the fact that you can just do whatever you want with it. And that it doesn't feel like a Turtle remake. It's a new variation is what I call them, because it's new. You can change it. You can tweak things. You can put your own spin on it. And that's always so fascinating to me. It makes every remake exciting, whereas it's not given Disney remaking Cinderella, you know what I mean? You could do something completely different with it. They have time travel. They have portals to different dimensions. They go to space. Like, no one seems to realize about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But yes, the art style, incredible, dude.
Yes, it's so good.
Such a beautiful movie. Oh my god. I also just really enjoyed having a new TMNT movie out. So like TMNT was just everywhere for 6 months. It was the best 6 months of my life. It's like yes. It was really good. I like the storyline. Splinter is, I'm like not huge into like when they make big celebrities voice actors just because they're big voice and like celebrities, you know,
Right.
it doesn't always go well. But Jackie Chan as Splinter, I will accept. That was iconic. He's not even Japanese, but it was iconic. Iconic. Didn't like Raph. One of the best Mikeys they've done in a long time. Mikey always gets character assassinated. Leo was really fun. He was like very different, but still very true to Leo, just done in a very different way. I loved Leo. Donnie was really good too. Weeb Donnie is like overdue. So overdue. I remember like the TMNT fandom fucking lost their shit when the pictures came out. We're like, is that a fucking Sailor Moon sticker on his bow staff? Is that Gojo? And then he's like, they leaked the toys and his bio was like, wants to be a gamer by day and a K-pop idol by night. And we're like, are you kidding? You must be joking. I never thought my two niche interests would align like this.
Yeah. I really like the movie. I like the dynamic with like the turtles, like being young and also like in New York. So it's like they took
the first time they were all actually teenagers.
Teenagers, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I guess being on the East Coast and like knowing that culture and like them like, you know, being like ingrained and also talking with like the New York culture. It's fun. It's fun like watching that. So yeah.
Well, that's such an interesting to hear because I have no like idea what like actual American culture is like. Just to hear that they're actually very New Yorkers is really cool.
Yeah.
In that movie. That's interesting.
They're basically just New York kids that you'd see like on the subway. So
that's even better. Yeah. I loved that they had like a kid dynamic and then they put them in the room together to record, so it was just really fluid, like you could feel the payoff from that. It was really good in the movie.
Yeah, they improv'd like a bunch. So
yeah. No, they're really good. I loved Mikey and Donnie's voice actors. They're really good. Really good. So good.
Oh yeah, they're coming out with like the miniseries, right?
Yeah, it comes out next week.
Oh,
the
shit.
Cartoon. I'm pretty sure it's next week. August 4th or 9th, something like that. I just know it's next week and I'm very excited.
I will watch that.
This week, next week. Yeah, it's on Paramount Plus. It'll be the whole first season. It's called Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it's the cartoon based on the Mutant Mayhem movie. So there'll be, I'm pretty sure there's Mutant Mayhem, and then they have a cartoon season, and then they're doing Mutant Mayhem 2.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be another season.
Neat.
I think. I'm not sure if there's the 2 seasons in between the movie or it's one. But it would be really cool. I saw there's been some snippets coming out. Like there's lots of teasers coming out because it's coming out really soon. The art style is very cool. Looks awesome. They go into high school, so that's never happened before in any TMNT variation. They have never gone to school.
No.
So that it'd be really interesting. Like it's very like, if it was any other variation, it'd be like, oh my god, sending them to high school and making it a high school drama. It's a bit no thoughts, brain empty of you. But they've never done that before, so it's interesting in that way.
Oh yeah, because Raph likes Drake. That's
Raph likes Drake. Yeah. I mean, fair enough. I'll permit it. I prefer when they punk rock fire Raph, but I'll permit it.
So your favorite turtle is Raph, right?
Yes, Raph.
I like Raph. Raph's a hothead.
Yeah.
So he's like me.
Yeah.
And also I like Red. So yeah.
He's also a fucking softie. Look, I could probably spend an hour talking about Raphael Ninja Turtle, but he's like got a temper, but he's really such a heart. You know, he's a big softie, to be honest. He just cares way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much.
That's why he clashes with Leo. All the time.
Yeah, all the time. They both have big leader energy, but Leo's a lot better at swallowing his emotions and making logical decisions, and Raph is just feeling it. But Leo wouldn't be successful without Raph. So it's like, I love them all very dearly. I think they all represent they're all really well thought out characters, and especially I highly recommend reading the comics because the comics does their characters a lot more justice. They're just really well developed characters, all of them. They have incredible personalities. I love them very dearly. But the IDW comics are really, really good. Highly recommend. There's a really good, all four of them are really good, to be honest. All of their personalities are bang on in the IDW comics.
I really need to watch. I need to like. I heard about The Last Ronin, and Last Ronin is very good. So I need to read that too. So
yes, I'm so. There's Last Ronin, and then there's Last Ronin Lost Years, which is like I think a prelude, but I can't even remember, and it's right here on my table. There's a new gen of 4 mutant turtles, new 4 turtles, and it's called Re-Evolution Last Ronin. This is them on the front here. This is the new team.
Oh shit!
They're babies. They're babies here, but they're just getting their comics just about to come out, or the first one just came out, where they're like adults, and they like are a team in this post-apocalyptic future timeline. You know how it be. Like there they are. There's the 4 of them.
Whoa.
You 4. Yeah, I can't remember the names. Yi, Uno, something or something. They're all named 1 in different languages. Moja and Odin. That's it. Yi, Uno, Moja, and Odin are the new 4. So that'll be cool. I haven't read that yet because it doesn't exist, but very excited. There's also like a new. Oh, yeah, I could talk about comics for way too long. Because there's the 2012 run that just finished of IDW. 150 just came out. Incredible. That's what I'm halfway through reading. They're about to start a new series of comics. So if you want to jump on from 1, the first one just came out in the new IDW series of TMTD. They're doing a Night Watcher from the 2007 movie, getting his own comic series. I love the Night Watcher. And then yeah, these guys, like Re-Evolution, is getting a series 2.
Neat.
It's coming out. There's lots of comics. Comics are so fun.
I really need to get into it. So
please, I will indulge you. I have no TMNT comic friends. I will convert anyone I can get my hands on. But the art style is like stunning. Stunning. Like, I cannot get enough of TMNT art. It's beautiful. Really well thought out, complicated stories with really well developed characters.
Interesting. And that has been the bonus section because like I like delving into like other stuff other than idol. Idol is good, but like when an idol has like other interests, cause like with Crystal, her whole thing was like she was an idol and then she became a VTuber, and then she also has an interest in K-pop. So it was like a good discussion to have, like just to have someone to talk to about K-pop. And like with you, yours is TMNT. I like TMNT. Might as well talk about it. So
I think it's a really interesting franchise. So, like, I'm biased, but it's a very interesting franchise. I don't meet a lot of people who are wildly into it, or into comics even. Like, I know Marvel comics are quite popular, but I don't meet a lot of comic collectors. Probably not.
All right, back to Idol for like one last thing. Do you have like any? I mean, like it is in the show zone, but do you have like any other upcoming gigs that you want to promote?
Upcoming gigs. I'm performing this weekend with May May. Naya is away, so it's just us. We've got a longer set. It's gonna be really fun. We're pulling out some fun, silly things for you guys. I'm pulling out some solo repertoire. It'll be really good. Then week after, Rat Rave returns.
Rat Rave
rescheduled. Take a rat test. Make sure you're free of the rat plague and come to the Rat Rave. There's gonna be surprise DJ, special guests, unexpected, sleigh, glow sticks. We're gonna have a party, non-stop music, rave, live. I don't know, it's gonna be great. I'm quite excited. We've got some things coming up in August that haven't been announced yet, but there's some stuff coming up. Please listen to our EP, in particular if you stream Wolf, I'll be really happy. It's the only one under 1,000 and it's getting to me because it's the only one with the stupid little, please just help me get rid of it. And our physical EP is online. We're going to have some more merch up online too, so if you're interstate or international, some of the new stuff or old stuff that hasn't been transported to our new website will be there soon. And in non-Fable things, I'm raising money for my own solo music. So if you like the EP, please come check me out. I make music too. Yay! Um, I haven't got anything up yet, but I will have new merch on my site. When I stream, I've got a dono bar. I'm gonna have tarot readings up, so keep an eye out. Please help me make music. I will love you forever. I can't do it without you. I think that's about it.
Neat.
Yeah, everyone's been dead of the plague. So it's been quite quiet in the idol scene this week.
So we've been through like all the questions, including the bonus section, and now I guess it's time for the episodic tradition of ending on a good note for most episodes, with the worst pep talk ever, where
Woo!
I have 1 minute to give the guest the absolute poo-poo caca pep talk ever. So I will start the timer now. Sunny, you have done a lot with Fable as a founding member, and to go from, I guess, like 2021 and up to now with the new EP, with the live shows, with the one-mans, it's honestly, it's amazing to see. And like doing that intro and like going through like, I guess, your past, and like going from like the K-pop stuff to Muse to Fable, and honestly, it's amazing to see. I don't know how else to say it, but like, and then I guess organizing all the live shows and like building up that foundation for, I guess, the newer generation, newer idols to like pop up, show up. It's cool. It's really, really cool to see this, I guess, your group in general grow and the whole scene in general grow. So that's cool. And as I'm going overtime, but whatever. Honestly, you've been through a lot, and I'm really hoping that Fable as a unit, reaches the highest highs. And like, I hope, what am I saying? The brain fog is what's getting into me. I hope for the best for all three of you and for you in general. So yeah. Also, go Raph.
Yeah, go Raph.
That's about it.
Thank you very much, Eggy, and thank you for having me even when you're sick. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I came on a bit firm. I was just really excited to see Oz represented, and have a lot of big brains, so I was really happy to come and be on here and speak. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me, but also talking about Oz idols in general and giving them a platform is really means a lot. So,
yeah, I like doing this arc, and I like learning about the scene. So like I definitely learned a lot more about the Sydney idol scene through you. So it's been a pleasure to have you on. And if you hadn't like replied or like said anything about Aussie Open, I probably wouldn't have had you on. So I don't know, or like I would have had you on like way later. But like, thank you for, I guess, like replying. Yeah,
it's hard to tell if I think from a distance who's been here a hot minute. So I was like, my brain is so full. I need to get on here. I really want to share the scene with everybody. So I hope I could do that. I hope everyone learn a lot. If anyone has any more questions, like anytime, please, I will do my best as always. But I'm really grateful that you could come on here and hang out. And you've got some great other people coming up too. Christy's been here longer than me, so
yeah,
y'all. Christy raised me. So
speaking of, next episode 13, is rescheduled. It's Christy. For the US,
wow.
That'll be August 2nd, 5 p.m. PDT, 8 p.m. EDT for Australia. That is August 3rd, 10 a.m. AEST. But also, this is a triple threat week. So after Christy, it's episode 14. And it's Naya of Fable.
Oh,
That'll be
cute.
for the US. That's August 3rd, 2024, 5 p.m. PDT, 8 p.m. EDT. And for Australia, that's August 4th, 10 a.m. AEST. Just like TT. I'm like TT. Namue. But yes, thank you. The brain fog is getting to me. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Sunny, for being on the show. Sunny, do you have like any recommendations for people to raid?
See, the problem is no one in Australia is streaming this early, so all the people I follow are offline. Unfortunately. So
Yeah, most of the people. Is there really anyone to raid here?
Yeah, the Aussies only stream in the morning if they're trying to stream to Americans. So
Yeah.
Online, so I got nobody.
Yeah, there's really no one here on my following list that is idol adjacent or like knows about IDOLEYEZ. So, viewers, I'll give you the chance, the choice of free will to do whatever you want and watch whatever. Oh wait, Maria Marionette is streaming. Go watch that. Yeah, she's awesome.
Wow.
Go watch that. They're playing Chain Together. Yeah, watch them. Yes. Okay. They're on YouTube. We can't raid directly, but go there. Maria's cool. So they're sending you there. But yeah, that has been episode 12. Hopefully, I'll see you guys back for episode 13 on US Friday, Oz Saturday. I think.
Yeah, Saturday. I forgot now.
August 4. I have to show this again.
Sunday. 4th is Sunday.
Okay, Chrissy's for us it's August 3rd. For US, that's August 2nd. So Friday
yes,
for
Saturday.
Yeah.
10 a.m.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. And then yeah, it's a very hectic week, but I will get through it.
I believe you. Drink us some water, okay? Have a good sleep.
Yeah. So do whatever you want, but preferably go to Marie Marinette's stream. She's very awesome. Stream Puppet Cafe. So, take care. Brush your hair. Be kind. Rewind. Yeah. We'll be going to the ending screen right here. Right now. Right here.
Bye-bye.
Right now. Where's my ending screen? Oh, there it is.